Welcome everybody to our latest session of the Restoration of Cariele. As typical, we'll do a quick recap and then get started with our session tonight. As we had last week off, this recap might be a little bit more brief, as obviously it's a whole nother week to forget stuff that happened. But yeah, let's go ahead and go through some of the stuff that you guys dealt with. So 2 weeks ago, you guys will probably recall, it was a petitioner day at council. So you guys met with various petitioners. You met with Mr. Claudin Heights, the banker, who was interested in offering you a loan. You guys got some additional information from him, primarily that he originally came from Thosone to the north. He was in sort of shipping and a merchant of some sort, an investor. You guys eventually decided that it sounds like, yes, you are going to take him up on that offer, but as far as collateral, you offered the tentacle rod from Dian and perhaps another item, and we'll see what those prices come out to. You guys decided you wanted to get them priced yourselves rather than having Mr. Heights get them priced. So that's something that is sort of an outstanding item before you can secure that loan from him. Next petitioner you met was Mr. Anson Keenseeker. He is a tailor in the capital city here. His daughter was murdered. You guys are pretty sure that this murder is tied to the serial killer that's on the streets of Cerilia. The petitioner arrived at council and spoke with Serena, who kind of directly addressed him, and he didn't seem overly happy with her answer. Seemed like as though he was getting kind of the runaround. Vin decided then to descend from the throne and directly interact with him, and this did seem to pacify Mr. Keenseeker to an extent. However, he is obviously still very much upset about the loss of his daughter, and he really is looking for concrete, obvious signs of change, primarily her killer being brought to justice. After sending him on his way, you guys also met with Jade Birthright. She was the innkeeper in the capital, and she had gotten some bad ale from a merchant called Davies, and she was hoping that you guys would come to her establishment and show folks that it's actually a good place to be. Things got so bad that she actually renamed her inn to the Golden Serpent Inn, and she's trying to forget ever the old name and the old establishment, really trying to do this big sort of rebranding effort. You guys also then met with a young lady by the name of Catherine Lunadream, who was a Ryuric bounty hunter. She arrived in Cariele not too long ago, indicated she had previously had been doing some bounty work in Moriad, specifically in Torian's Watch, and she was coming to Cariele to see if her services were needed here. After the public petitioners were done, you guys also did some private meeting requests. You had Mr. Parniel Sidian, your guild representative, who arrived and sort of demanded to be put on the list, and he explained that due to the communications that your administration has had with Moriad, a penalty has been assessed from Moriad to the guilds of Cariele, essentially assessing a penalty on them. According to the rep, he said this penalty is is due to what you specifically have told Moriad. Obviously, you guys might disagree with that or have different thoughts on that, but essentially the way he explained it is that penalty is being passed on to you, and so he will expect that money fairly soon. Otherwise, Miele will decide to start seizing assets. And if she seizes assets, he explained that means she'll probably take more than what the penalty actually is. So you guys had some discussions on that, and it sounds like you're leaning towards just paying the penalty. You guys also spoke with Mr. Claudin Heights, the banker, once again, this time in private, to discuss more specifics, particularly rates, the amounts you want to offer, all that sort of thing. And I believe you guys settled on 7 gold bars that you are going to borrow from him. Again, that's 14,000 gold pieces. He explained typically the amount of a deposit or something being held as collateral is about half that amount, so somewhere around 7,000 gold is what he's looking for. And again, you guys are still pricing that out. Next was a Mr. Francis Stonesworn, who you were supposed to see. He had sent information ahead that there was a couple of attempts on his life while he was in the city. You guys agreed to meet with him in private. However, when it was his time to actually show up to speak with you, he was not there. Lord Tannen explained that he's pretty sure he saw Mr. Stonesworn in the castle and spoke with him briefly, but once he was summoned, he was nowhere to be found, and obviously that's somewhat concerning. You guys also spoke with the very nervous Mr. Gregory Cloudfang, who was the porter, and he had a friend that was the pickpocket who stole a ring from a traveler. The friend dropped the ring off to him, and then she never appeared again, or at least so far. He decided he doesn't want to have anything to do with this ring, and thus handed it over to you all. After you guys said he could leave, he left as quickly as he possibly could. You guys quickly kind of inspected the ring. I think it was Blixel that picked it up first and noticed that it was cool to the touch. When he commented on this, Mr. Cloudfang had explained that he had been keeping it with his cold things, is what he said. However, after it was handed over to Lord Tannen to see if he recognized the sigil on the sigil ring, he noticed that there was like almost maybe some kind of caking on the sigil itself. So he took his thumb and kind of wiped it away, and that revealed this very strange looking sigil, which primarily resembles a human skull with tentacles coming out of it. Tavern seemed to be maybe perhaps particularly interested in this, but couldn't recall if he had seen that sigil anywhere in particular. After Mr. Cloudfang left, you guys spoke with a Mr. Commonbrook, you were supposed to speak with Mr. Commonbrook, but he was the locksmith, and Blixel spoke with him outside of this official session of council. So although he was missing, and this seemed to become a pattern of missing counselors, you just remembered that he was told he didn't have to show up to council any longer. And the next petitioner you met with was Helena Glorybluff, who is very secretive about her means, but once you spoke with her, she explained that she represents this great assassin in the land, probably the great assassin of all time, if the history books can be believed, known as Champagne. And she said that Champagne is offering her services to you. You basically have to pick a name, and if the name of the person you pick meets the criteria, the goals, the aims of Champagne, then that person is as good as dead, according to Helena Glorybluff. And you guys are sort of still in the middle of that and roaming around in your minds, so some different ideas of how you want to pull the trigger on that. Outside of the council sessions, a couple of other interesting things that popped up. As a reminder, very early on in your council session here, Blixel spotted a very small rabbit and sort of in the in the corner of the council chambers. When he called attention to this and some of the other counselors looked there, nobody else was able to spot it. However, there was this interesting odor that was in the air when Vin walked over there. It smelled to him like freshly baked sugar cookies, while Blixel similarly had kind of a interesting kind of connection to this rabbit, or positive you might say, and when he in particular opened his senses using divine sense, he was able to hear this very glorious music from that area, though was not able to track down the rabbit any longer. Even though Vin exited the door and just kind of peeked around to see if maybe the rabbit was really close by, it wasn't. The guards seemed perplexed, they hadn't seen anything. Other than that, there was also some discussions amongst your team about kind of changes that you guys want to make within the realm. Particularly, right now we know that Serena is focused on trying to restructure the sort of how the guards and the guard apparatus and the legal system that interconnects with the guard apparatus, how that all sort of operates. So she'll be spending some of her time doing that as additional issues keep arising. But yeah, 2 weeks ago, guys, last session. So that is my brief recap. I'm sure I missed a ton in there, but that's more opportunities for you guys to potentially get inspiration. So if there's anything that I missed that anybody would like to add, feel free to do so now.
Well, just the scientist. I'm not sure if it's because we were still going through some people or not, but we never met with the scientist that was going to try to use the special metal that we have.
Yes, that is correct. You guys actually still have a few private petitioners that you haven't gotten to yet, so we will be wrapping that up now. If you can add any additional details, perhaps like how many points worth maybe that the scientist wants, or the name of the metal, give me something concrete and I can give you inspiration for that.
I think they just wanted 4 points, but I'm not 100% sure.
Ooh, only 2 points actually. So yeah, no, unfortunately, no inspiration on that. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
There was a Francis Stone Sworn. He was a butcher, and he had somebody had taken 2 attempts on his life from long range. We think it was arrows, but he never showed up. Tannen went to go and get him, but he was nowhere to be found. They looked for him, couldn't find him anywhere. So yeah, he went missing. But Tannen did say he thought he saw him when all the petitioners got there. So that's
Yes,
an
indeed, and that was part of my recap, but important enough event to mention it twice. That's all right.
oh, sorry. There was so much in the recap.
Yes, I know. 2 weeks go by. It's always challenging to remember everything. I'm surprised I got as much as I did. So no worries, guys. If you don't have anything else fresh in mind, obviously that 2 weeks can do that. So let's go ahead and pick up, and we will continue where we left off and get into the thick of things. So I'm going to pull you guys back over to the council chamber. All right, so as a reminder, you guys did drag your tokens here in the council chamber to represent roughly where your characters are about the room. If you haven't done so yet, feel free to do so. But no, I see all 6 of you there, so great. And obviously, Miss Helena Glorybluff is with you now, and she asked for a chair. So I presume she's probably in the back, just kind of a little bit past where Tavern is standing against that back wall.
I think all visitors should have to sit in the middle of the U and get grilled.
You said Helena is the one in front of us?
Yes, indeed. Helena Glorybluff. As a reminder, she arrived, was very cagey about her exact connections or what she was bringing before the council, and once she got assurances from you all that regardless of what she said, you wouldn't try to have her arrested or anything along those lines, she then revealed that she is the agent for a great assassin known as Champagne, or at least she kind of alluded to that, and Celine was able to connect the dots based on her historical knowledge that this must be what Helena was speaking of.
Little did she know we'd be pro-murder.
Well, it may help us to know. You said if it aligns with her goals and her values. Could you give us an idea of what some of those may be?
Yes, I can. In general, it's much as I already mentioned. She's very much against people who use violence to try to instill their way, use violence unjustly. Particularly, she's very much against men who use violence against women. That is probably her something that most drives against her and what she fights against.
I wish we knew the name of the serial killer that's plaguing our streets.
That is correct, Helena. We do not know their name, but there's a serial killer at loose now in Cariele, and they're attacking young women in their early 20s. We do not know a name. We do not have a description.
You notice she nods and she says, previously Counselor Dawnguard there had asked that if you could supply a description, would that be sufficient? And I had indicated that as long as it's clear who you're referring to, yes, Champagne certainly can do some research on her own to figure out who this person is. So don't consider that necessarily a barrier. Of course, if this person is incredibly good at obscuring their presence or their identity, it might take a bit longer, but nonetheless, the job will get done.
We have an ongoing investigation on the matter. Would it be possible? Would there be a way to contact you or some other affiliates of your employer if we discover more information in the future?
She shakes her head. I'm afraid not. If you name somebody here today, I will take that name and I will make sure that it is spoken to Champagne, and the rest is history, as they say. But once I leave here, then we shall not meet again. I'm sure you can understand that there is a bit of a covert nature to this kind of work. We have to be very careful to whom we speak and how often we are publicly presented.
Aye, but could we just name the persons as the serial killer of Cariele? Would that be acceptable?
She nods her head. Yes, you could. In fact, I believe I know who you're referring to, not as an identity, of course, but I've heard of these talkings, these goings on in the city, even from the brief time that I've been here.
Adam, I mean, I've asked a lot of questions about this investigation. Do we have any reports of like a description from anybody that had close encounters or anything like that?
I believe there's only been one that was kind of a close encounter, and they were in such like a state of fear and just trying to get away that they didn't give any kind of a description that's something that you could really feel comfortable with. Think of it kind of as like a man dressed in black, right? Like that's about as good of a description as you have of this supposed serial killer right now.
Oh, bummer. Uh-oh, why'd you say supposed?
Well, it's mystery of serial killers, right?
Dun dun.
Not allowed to say they're guilty till there's a trial.
How many bodies again? Is it 5? 4? As you can see, Helena, it's not that we could not use your services, but we would want them pointed in the right way. Hopefully.
She nods. It is very rare to find an administration that can't use Champagne services. There is always individuals out there who don't follow the rules or are just out for themselves, evil, you might say. So her services are always needed, but again, she is just a person, so she can only be in certain places at certain times. This is a limited offer for you. We wish we can help you. If you have a name, you can give it now, and as I said, I will whisper it in her ears, and the rest will be taken care of. But if you choose not to, that is your choice.
Serial killer of Cariele it is.
I
I
second
agree.
that.
As long as we don't want to do something about our other problems, right? Is that too bold of a move?
We don't know if their values align with that particular name, Lord Blixel. However, we can confirm that they align with this one, at least from our perspective.
That's true. Yeah, it's probably for the best to do it this way too. We wouldn't want to start a war.
And there's people dying. Gotta save the people.
Helena, our administration, council members of Cariele, we name the serial killer of Cariele.
You see she
Please.
smiles as you say this. She inclines her head towards you. You see she lifts her hand to this blue gem that is on this long necklace around her neck. She kind of just presses the blue gem and she closes her eyes for a moment. And then she looks, opening her eyes once again, looking at you all. And she says, "It is done, and I will take my leave." And you see she gets up from her chair and exits the council chambers.
All right. That's good. Let's hope she takes care of that.
Hope she gets the right person.
Aye. Well, if she is a legend as they say she is, I cannot imagine it going wrong. However, that does not mean that we should not increase the patrols in that lower area.
Sounds
So we
good.
can get confirmation that the killings stop. Yes, we should do what we can to
Continue.
protect the people.
Continue our plan. How do you feel about that, Chief Counselor Dean? I know wishing violence upon someone kind of goes against what you stand for.
No. Violence and drastic change is necessary, my lord.
And I'll look over at Tannen. You can send in the next one.
You notice Tannen nods, and he stands from his chair and makes his way to the door. And moments later, you see that he returns, and he says, yes, she is here to speak with you, Miss Evelyn Redstream, the academic. And you notice Miss Redstream then enters the room. You can see she looks kind of like a middle-aged woman, perhaps a little bit on the mousy side, and fairly short, in fact. You notice as she enters, she just kind of like looks around, almost as though she's seen things perhaps for the first time. She's a little bit surprised at the grandeur, perhaps, of these chambers. But eventually she collects herself and she looks towards you all and she says, oh, it is such a great day. I'm sure you would agree. Evelyn Redstream, yes, academic, and I study a great many things. In particular, I am currently studying the properties of certain types of metals and ores, and it has come to my attention that you are in possession of what is known as nihiladium. Is that correct?
Oh,
I
yeah.
suppose it's no secret. Yes. Wait,
Yes.
real quick, is Blixo wearing his Nihiladium breastplate now?
I don't think I've managed to get it yet.
Okay.
So, no. I plan to get it as soon as I can, but for now, I don't think I have it yet.
Alright. I didn't remember either.
So, what are you planning to do with that? What kind of stuff are you trying to figure out?
Well, I am trying to learn how the metal and its subsidiary qualities impact other things. You could say, trying to find out the core properties of this metal and see what can be derived from it and be confident that what my conclusions have drawn are accurate. I don't want to make too big of promises, you see, because, well, science, but possibly I could have good things in response to this offer. You see, my research is at a very interesting point, and it's possible that I'm near a breakthrough.
And this breakthrough requires more product?
More would be a misnomer. You see, I haven't been able to study nihiladium specifically yet, but based on other ores and metals that I have studied, I have perfected a process to derive the core property of the ore into other uses. But, well, I haven't had nihiladium to work on previously.
What other metals were you using?
Some of the more common varieties, like iron and tin, even copper and such. A little bit of silver, in fact, which is most interesting. But nihiladium represents one of the more exotic ores that I will have ever been able to study, assuming you agree to my proposal.
Well, I'm a little worried that this is out of the scope of what us mortals should be doing. Usually the gods give us everything we need. We don't need science, right?
You notice she kind of turns and looks at you and has this like scrunched up look on her face, and then her face kind of smooths out a little bit. Well, I suppose one might argue that the gods gave us science.
Didn't think about that one, did you, Lord Blexel?
Hmm.
Evelyn, I. It's no hidden secret that we have Annihiladium. In fact, we're having some worked into a breastplate for one of our council members now. But we do have product left over. However, we did not see anything about a return. If we allow you to take our product and not have anything to come back from it, what would that gain us?
Perhaps nothing. It all depends on the results of the research, you see. I may have to destroy the Nihiladium to harness its core property, and there may not be enough harnessed to produce anything of value or of interest, except for knowledge, which of course is of the most importance.
And where is it that you do your work? Is it here in Carolinian?
It is, yes, but my accommodations are very basic. You see, there's not much in the way of labs or schools here in Cariele, as I'm sure you know, but perhaps one day.
That's an interesting proposal. And what if I told you that we were working on seeing if we could get more of this ore and other varieties? Would you be opening to studying those as well?
Possibly. It depends on how well this first research goes. Depends on what I can learn.
What do you need the dogs for?
Dogs?
Yeah. You said there's no labs. You want labs. What are
You
you going to
notice
do with them?
her face scrunches up once again. Laboratories for studying.
What are you going to study about them? They're dogs.
No, not lab. Laboratory. You see? It's place where people study and experiment and science.
You're using
Oh.
big words on a man with a little vocabulary. I wouldn't
Yeah,
say
I've heard of
nothing
golden
else.
laboratories and black laboratories, but I didn't know you studied them. But all right.
I only have an 8, but I still scored higher than Blakesville.
Well,
That-
Evelyn, the council, although Lord Blixel here is giving you a hard time, we have already agreed before you got here to allow you to take this Nihiladium and use it for research. However, I would like if you could be a bit more clear on what it is you would gain from this. Is it a new way of using it? Is it, I mean, you said harness the magic. What could that possibly mean?
No. Not harness magic, core properties. Different. See, Nihiladium, from what I know, not magic, but contains properties that might be able to be used elsewhere. Have many ideas, but can't be sure. So, see, it's a very complex process. And what would happen is I would go one way, and then if that worked, I would keep going. But if didn't work, then I have to go a different way. I can't tell you right now what the end product will be because too many variables.
Gotta love a woman that wants to play with rocks. Love it. Let's give her some rocks.
I'm very excited as well.
But there's got to be a proposal you have in mind, some potential outcome that you predict. Just tease us a little, right?
Give us your best possible scenario, for instance, in your eyes.
Well, and I'm very uncomfortable with this because nothing is guaranteed,
We
but
understand that, Evelyn, but skip the variables and just tell us if you do your study the way you hope it goes and it comes out the way that you wish it does, what is the end result of that scenario?
few possibilities. One, it gets cold here in Cariele in winter, very, very cold. And this metal has core property of heat. So imagine a brazier with just a little bit of nihiladium in it, and it burns much longer and much warmer, keeping everybody warmer. That's one possibility. Another is potentially, though I stress once again that this is unlikely, but possibly we could tip certain kinds of ammunition with small amounts of nihiladium in order to deal some fire damage to long range targets. Also, possibly, we have things like icebreakers where there are areas where ice freezes things up, but maybe if we take core property and turn it into a paste and apply that, then it won't freeze.
So
I see.
3 solid hypotheses. Good.
That's only three, many more, but won't know until start science.
Well, you have your nihiladium. We'll have it delivered to your quarters if you let Lord Tannen know where they are. You said you need how much again?
Well, I think about this much, and she like motions with her hand, which mechanically you realize is 2 points worth.
Is she human?
She is human, yes.
You have a very interesting way of speaking. Are you not from here originally?
From here, yes, but I have two thoughts paths, same time.
Oh.
Complex indeed.
So you're thinking about two things all at the same time at once?
You see, she nods. Yes, yes. Talking with you and then science.
Hmm. You should save one path for the gods, though.
All right, Evelyn. Like I said, we will have your delivery
Hey,
of Annihiladium to you.
I got an idea though. Actually, what you mentioned was earlier when you said there should be some sort of bargain or something. Maybe we should say that if she finds it based on what we give her and everything, that the county here has the first rights to any products that were made or discovered. Like a patent or something.
I suppose that whatever is made from science will be small based on quantity, but for future, yes.
All right. Well, Evelyn, you are dismissed.
Oh,
Could you
wait.
let
Could I ask her to see if she can figure out something else while she's working with it?
A poodle?
We're gonna need a lot of this stuff, right? If your research is successful.
If you
So
want product from research, then yes.
so maybe when you're researching this, if you could figure out easy ways to mine it or ways to make mining it easier, that would be really helpful, and that would really make sure you have plenty of product in the future to use.
You notice this is the first time you actually see her pull out a small scrap of paper, and she actually like takes a quill and jots down on it, and she nods at you the whole time she's writing.
I agree. Wow. I thought for sure you were going to say something about the gods again.
No, I've said my piece. I'm okay with it, but yeah, we just got to make sure if this is a breakthrough, we keep breaking through.
I agree.
You see she nods and nods and then looks back at you, Vin, and just like kind of looking for confirmation that she can go.
Aye, and in the future, please come with us, or come to us, rather, with any more ideas you may have. We'll see what we can do to get your supplies.
Only other thing for you to think about is money for learning, school, helpful for long term. And you see with that, she nods, kind of bows very slightly, backing up, looks to Lord Tannen and gives him a nod, and then she exits the room.
She brings up a good point. We should look into what it would take to upgrade her laboratory and get her better equipment. She could become useful in the future.
For sure. But I mean, maybe we wait to see if she's actually capable.
Obviously, yes. Alright, we have our last potential guest. Now, if this is the woman we believe it is, how do we want to handle this?
And you got to find out why she's willing to offer services for so cheap. And I say we just straight up ask her. What's she doing with the guild? Why is she meeting with them in secret? I don't know.
If we do that, we play out the only surprise card we have. They don't know it was us.
Mm. If they're not stupid, they probably will figure it out.
I don't know. We made our way back to the castle. We have alibis. Either way. I don't think we should play our hand. I think we should force the guild to play theirs. If I remember correctly, Dean told us while he was in spider form, he heard one of the guards or whatever shout, "The gig isn't up." What is that gig? That's what worries me. What plan is this? They were flying no flags. They come to us as mercenaries, so that makes sense. However, magicians, invisible breeding cats, and then obviously hiding in the guild member's tent and them refusing us entry.
There is one other point that Dean mentioned, that the woman herself seemed quite impatient, so there's a possibility that the guild didn't want us to find out, but she may not care either way. I agree with you that we probably shouldn't confront her directly right out the gate, because then they'll put all kinds of things together about where we were and what we were doing. But if there's a way to at least figure out where she came from, we might be able to figure out what she's doing here now.
Any ideas on how to do that?
I suppose I can't be sure until we talk to her. try to find out through her mannerisms what she might be hiding. I'm not sure. It's not something I'm particularly good at.
Well, anybody else have any ideas or opinions on the matter?
I say we fly by the seat of our pants.
Yes. However, think of it this way. She's here. People know she's here. If she goes missing from here, there's no way we can cover that up. If we make accusations here, she leaves, and she's in a place where she can easily communicate with the people we know she's affiliated with. It's a tricky spot for us to make any accusations right here and right now.
Okay, I won't slice her.
Obviously, if she makes a move, you can cut her in half. What do
Fingers
you think,
crossed.
Dean? You saw her? You saw all of this? What do you think?
She did not seem aligned with the guild, in my opinion. More maybe mercenary bent.
You think there's a chance we can make her a better offer?
Fair question, and it has crossed my mind. However, I do not think we are in a financial situation to take the risk. Assuming it's financial. Ah. No. Just a fleeting thought.
I will air it.
No. It's probably best for another time. An opportune moment maybe will arise. We shall keep our wits about us. Not write her off as entirely in the guild's pockets.
Speaking of opportune moments, I feel like I'm missing a card or something.
You're not
Oh, want to
opening
make
another shadow portal into this fucking...
make sure you have the card before meeting with her. All right, yeah. Let me go ahead and deal those up.
But that's a good way to describe her, as the wild card in the deck.
Okay, so our plan is to just pretend we never saw her and just act like we don't know anything.
We'll see what conversation arises, but I think that's the best first move. Politely turn her down and mention that our funds are already tied up.
Well, let's hear her entreaty first. It may give us
No.
some idea about what she's...
Yeah, I agree,
After.
100%. But we're rich as hell, dude. Don't tell her we're poor.
That's not my intention, but I understand what you mean. All right, I'll look over at Tannen. Send her in.
Lord Tannen nods, and you see he moves to the door, opens it, and you see he's only out there like maybe 5 seconds or so before Milena pushes on in, just kind of sliding by him to take a standing position in front of the map that you see there on the back wall. You notice as she enters the room, she kind of looks at all of you fairly quickly, and then you notice her eyes seem to wander about the room as though she's taking in individual items like the suit of armor, the candlesticks on the table. You see she even reaches her hand forward and kind of touches the table, tracing her finger against the wood, before she then raises her eyes back up towards you all again, and she says, "Greetings. I am Milena Grimm. I'm sure you've heard of my proposal. I am a mercenary captain, and I lead a unit of mercenary cavalry. Looks like you could use all the help you could get now that you're at war with the goblins. I can offer you a very reasonable rate. 5 gold bars muster cost. What do you say?
Aye, and how did you get in command of this mercenary unit? Give us some background.
I killed the right people.
For the right price, I imagine.
No, I'm not an assassin. I just kill stupid people who get into positions that they don't deserve.
Ah,
Stanley looks worryingly at Vin.
Is that why you
Serena
walked
steps
in
between
here
her
and...
and Vin.
Is that why you walked in here and priced the room?
Priced the room. I don't have a good evaluation of the items in here, no.
Yeah, we noticed with how quick you looked around. I feel like I've seen your face before.
And
Well, that's all. Either way, we have no use of a mercenary cavalry service at this moment. We were able to fend off the goblins.
for now, but your units are quite depleted. Don't think that the goblins are going to simply stay behind their borders, do you?
We're not here to discuss our plans with you. However, we appreciate your concern for the safety of Cariele's borders.
You see, she kind of looks around at the rest of you sitting around the table then. An interesting group that you've managed to collect around you.
So who have you recently mercenaried for, if that's the right verbiage?
If you're asking where my company has been, we've been to the north most recently.
Is it your point to keep your employment a secret?
Who has hired me? If you're asking that, I was hired by the realm of Thosone to defend against some border skirmish with the Ryuric lands.
Oh, how'd you do?
Quite well, I'm still alive.
Tell us a little bit about your unit. You may be able to change my mind.
Mercenary Cavalry, we are one of the finest units in the land. We go by the moniker the Steelhearts, for you see, we do not flee even in the sight of the greatest charge that there is. The Ryuric force has descended upon us. We had 3 units, one on either side of us, nothing behind us but left, right, and front. We stood stalwart and we held the ground while the archers were able to take one of the units down, and we charged and took the other 2 down ourselves.
Impressive.
were you ever conflicted? Fighting, it seems from your appearance, your countrymen.
People are stupid regardless of nationality or regardless of background. I'm sure you've killed some of whoever your people are.
No, just because there's not many of me around, you know. I'm sort of one of a kind.
How unfortunate.
I take it as a plus.
And where is your unit currently camped at? If you came here seeking employment, I'm assuming you brought them with you. However, I did not hear of any unit camped close to the city.
Mercenary units don't move as a unit when we have to move about. We break down into smaller groups to make it more easier on travel. We cannot collect and form a actual fighting force in a land that hasn't given us their approval, of course. Doing so would be tantamount to war, which is not what we would be aspiring to.
Ah, no aspirations of war, you say?
Not against this land. Many of my men call Cariele home.
Aye. And one of your men, Ryuik, I imagine, based on that fierce hair color of yours, is currently regent. How do you feel about that?
You want my honest opinion of you as regent?
Yes, we do.
You seem
Sure.
young and undeserving of the position or of the authority granted.
Aye. Agreeable statements. I am young, which is nice. However, we did send our units into battle and they won their first time.
Did
So
you lead those units into battle and fight at the forefront?
I do not need to comment on our battle plans again.
You notice she smiles a bit as you say this and she says, I see.
You're
Well,
a
you
smart
have
woman.
my proposal on the table. If you're not interested, obviously we can move on and find others who are interested in our services. I just hope you don't regret this decision when the goblins or some of your other enemies are knocking down your borders.
Let me ask you, Melina, what other enemies particularly pop in your mind? You seem to be a very straightforward, honest person.
That's the first time I've been called that, but the Five Peaks is always chaotic and unsettled. You never know what's going to come out of there. Thurzor is barely held together, so that, of course, they've already declared war on you, and you'd be a fool to trust them at all. They will push into your lands if they feel that there is some gain for them. Thosone likely would not attack you outright, but if there was some kind of advantage to them doing so, they might do just that. The elves are usually quiet, but you might be aware that the elves don't have or didn't have such a good relationship with this one's father, so you never know how exactly that's going to go. Markazor would be here in moments if they could somehow figure out ways to get around the Stone Crown Mountains. I think your only real ally is to the south, so every other angle is possible angle of attack.
What about asymmetrical threats?
Yes, there are many of those as well, too many to count.
See, very honest. Well, that I've noticed so far, at least.
Well, if there is nothing else, I have many other things to do, as I'm sure you all do as well. I hope you all live. And you see, with that, she turns to start making her way out and exits the room. You notice as Lord Cannon kind of closes the door behind her, he turns back and looks at all of you with like this odd expression on his face.
We can't afford 5 bars anyway, right? Like we're broke as fuck. So
6. We technically could afford it. However, I mean,
Yeah, it's not worth it if we think she might betray us.
once the door is shut, I look over at Tannen and I smile and say, "Hey, what did you think of that?"
A very fierce woman. I certainly wouldn't want to be on the other end of her blade or even that look.
Double agent vibes.
yes, well
Well,
said.
based on everything she said, though, it does not appear that she knew anything about our little espionage. And I kind of smile. Invisible spider, hey? And I look over at Dean.
Yes, it was very unnerving.
I will. Now that the petitioners are done, we'll get to work on making our move into Punal, moving the right pieces. However, we should talk about those tunnels in the Stone Crown Mountain.
Yes,
I
I thought
was,
that was the most interesting part about Mark Azor would be quick to be here, but we need to maybe help that process.
yes. And I had a side thought as well. The items that the banker needs potentially could be found there.
Well, counselors, if you will recall, Petitioner Greybelt has been waiting here in Carolinian upon you indicating that you would likely take this up, just not right away. So he is still here and very eager to hear from you. In fact, he sent forward a list of individuals that he has under his expedition at the moment. I could read off some details if you like, or if you have any specific questions.
Sounds good to me. I'm ready to go adventuring again.
There are currently 10 names on this expedition roster, not including any of you. He has himself listed as the expedition leader, and he indicates his skill as a cartographer. That, of course, would be helpful in navigating the wilds and hopefully tunnels and things. He has somebody listed as assistant to expedition leader, but no name. That's curious. He has 4 miners on the list. A colorful collection of characters here. It looks like all dwarves. One is actually a married couple. One is has a slight limp. The other one has pierced eyebrows. Interesting. In addition to the miners, there's also a provisioner. I assume that's somebody who hunts and makes sure the food's ready and so forth. I know he is a dwarf. There are 2 scouts on the ledger here. An Enwerian woman and a halfling male. In fact, interesting. This is curious. For the woman, the note here says talks to plants. I'm not sure what that means. And then finally, there is a cook on the list as well. The only note here says old woman.
Sounds like a real crack team.
Does kind of
I
sound like an
agree.
expedition our party would be privy to.
Sounds like a great team to me, in my opinion. Sounds well built.
I do think we should examine the facts of our situation. We just defended our lands against an invasion. We just had Milena walk into our council, effectively warning us and giving us a nod in a direction of some help, either from her or from our friends. I think we should be not exactly in war footing, but maybe preparing to secure our lands might be top priority at this point, based on what we've seen in the last few days.
Aye, but we've already spent our focus going towards the expedition, I guess, making footing into Punal. We would have to do any kind of fortification after we finish with this one first. However, I could stay behind. We have many things to do. However, we need to secure our borders, and that is one of them. We have our troops in position, and if need be, I can move them without you here. I could send someone in my place, and, well, you guys know if the worst happens, well, you know where I'll pop back. Just come get me.
Won't you just pop back where you get killed?
No, no. According to Celine and her knowledge of it, it's where I call home.
You have to hit F5 first, and then you can pop up to where you last died.
I do not have
Ah.
the quick save stone.
Quick save stuff.
So you would just appear in your bed? Is that how it works?
I haven't died yet. I can't really give you the specifics.
All right. Well, you said we know where if I do. We don't really know don't know how it works. But yeah, I'm sure you won't die.
Yes, that is our motto. Let's talk about this Milena situation also real quick. She said that she was partnered with Doson.
With a border
Right?
dispute, yeah.
Do you remember where all of Miele's trade routes go with the guild?
I sadly I do not, my lord.
They're all going into Dozone?
Was I supposed to write that down?
No, not necessarily, Chief Counselor.
You're gonna
I
send me
just-
to the gulag?
No. I was just trying to make a point, right? I mean, she said she came from defending their borders, so that could be where her connection with Miele happened. I believe she voiced her honest opinion about me and my position, which is fine. I mean, it's not what she did. She didn't say anything that's not true.
Yeah, she could probably read the room as soon as she walked in.
But we have the upper hand because I don't believe that she knows that we know of their connection. So if this doesn't work, what's their next move?
Now, just as a bit of reminder, the guild representative, whether lying or truthful, had no idea that what went down when we went on a little expedition. I mean, there could be a coup happening. There could be she could have maybe fought the guild back from different lands and was there to negotiate the end of the fight. Or maybe there's endless. The possibilities are endless of why she was there.
Aye, but the loggers were defending her and trying to keep her hidden. So that makes me think she is more aligned with them than at any kind of war with them. However, it is a good point, right? That it could be anything. There's countless possibilities, but that's why we need to see what their next move may be.
Is there any way we can have her followed, Tavard, with your resources? I don't necessarily like the idea of just waiting to see what happens. We know that she was in contact with the guild, but not necessarily why. I think the worst case scenario is that they're conspiring against you. She was very honest that she doesn't think you deserve the crown, which makes me wonder why she would offer her services to you in the first place, if not to betray you at some point.
Didn't she also say something about that she fights people who don't deserve what they got? So, I mean, that's challenging. But to answer your question there, I was thinking maybe, you know, maybe our buddy over there could turn into another spider. I mean, if she's staying in the, somewhere around here at an inn, maybe our itsy bitsy spider goes in and spies on her directly.
Countless possibilities. I mean, let's say the worst, right? Like that's there's some kind of conspiracy to work against me, but we already knew Miele was up to something. I mean, if she came as a petitioner, we would have not known unless we had gone and looked at those creepy vine things that stabbed me a couple of times, right? If we didn't do that and go through all of those steps, we wouldn't have known that she was creepy and connected to the guild in any way. So what we would have just turned her down then. So either way, we turned her down, but there must have been a move, right? There's no way she could have known that we would have taken it up.
No, that's a fair point. Yes, a good point.
I can just add, counselors, my lord, I got the vibe that she didn't really seem to care if you hired her or not. Like, yes, she did kind of give that warning about being attacked and things, but she certainly didn't seem to be the kind of person that was trying to go out of her way to get hired. Did any of you feel the same?
No, she's very confident in her ability to get hired.
That's why I'm worried she was just here to scope things out.
You notice
Dictate
Lord
the
Tannen
room.
nodding to you, Serena. That's exactly the vibe that I got. She was here to scope things out.
Do Do you think an assault is going to happen on the castle?
By a single group of mercenaries against
Well,
an entire guard unit?
a
And
guild-backed group of mercenaries.
She was
why
staring at us down like she was trying to size us up.
could be intimidation. I mean, there's a
I
ton
didn't
of
feel
things.
intimidated at all. No, didn't work. Didn't even have to roll dice for that one.
I think we might want to just be on high alert. Make sure all the doors are locked, all the windows are shut.
Keep the gates to the castle closed for a few days.
Yeah, I'll try to make sure we have plenty of guards on duty and maybe give some people some overtime.
We know where she's going. We know how to get back.
Where is she going?
Well, we assume she's going back to her group.
Maybe. They might have moved their camp though. But regardless, I'm just a little on edge. Like you said, it seemed like she was checking out the place. That and the rabbit, I don't know what's going on. And the guy trying to get keys to our castle. I feel like there's a lot of avenues for us to get absolutely porked here.
There's an alternate solution. We could let her make contact with whoever she's trying to make contact with, and then we kidnap her. And we have someone who's particularly good about getting information. We would have to do it successfully and quietly, but she's not surrounded by her guard now. She checks in with whoever she needs to in Carolinian, right? On her way back to her unit, I can't imagine she has a large force with her, right? Maybe 3 to 5 guards, maybe 7. She'll be on horse, we know that, obviously. But what if we got her on the way back? She wouldn't be expecting it.
No. But are we gonna kill her after that, or what are we doing?
No, but
You
how do
can't
you
just
find...
release her after we kidnap her.
Yeah, but we have somebody who's really good at getting information from people, and we just let her do her thing. Quietly, and we know a place here in the castle that others do not know about.
I would say I would leave that decision up to you, whether you want to go that route.
Well, how else do we make any moves against the guild if we don't know any of their plans? I mean, this is the first viable connection to Miele that's not Miele that we found. If anybody's breakable, it's some mercenary that she hired for some hit. Right kind of money
She
can
didn't
shift
seem
anybody's
real.
alliance.
She didn't seem real breakable to me.
If we believe her story, the crux of her unit's success is that they aren't breakable.
Okay. But she hasn't experienced loss. Anybody who has not lost feels unbreakable. They all feel that way. Till you deliver them a blow and you take that feeling from them.
Like before Baron.
I know how you all feel about the guild.
Yeah, but I'm kind of scared of that lady, so I don't know.
It may be risky. Well, it's not a maybe. It will be. But think about it. Who else is going to have information about what their plans are?
The guild members probably more than her, but yeah, I mean, they will know that we took her eventually. You know what I mean? It will come out, just like you were worried about us revealing to her in the meeting. This will set off a chain of events where they'll know what we're doing.
If it goes down correctly, not necessarily. I'm sorry, Celine, what were you going to say?
I was going to say she did mention something that many of her unit are Carelian natives. Is it possible we could ask around, see if anyone has contact with or relationships with some of these people? Perhaps Milena herself is tight-lipped and along with the plan, but maybe not all of her men are so shrewd, is what I'll say.
Well, the alternate solution to kidnapping someone and getting information from them is that we just let them make their move, which we have no idea what it could be.
But what did she learn that the guild doesn't already know?
She was sizing us up.
Yeah,
She
but
was
the guild
appraising us.
The guild knows that. She gained nothing.
I don't think it. I think her appearance here was procedural, if that makes sense. Perhaps orders.
Yeah.
It would make sense as to why she would be here in the area if we had heard that a unit had arrived, right? She came in, she did the formal approach. We rejected her offer. Now the real espionage begins. She knew that we would say no.
Or she was seeing if we would mess up and admit that we saw her with the guilds. That was part of the ruse as well, which we kept a tight lip about. Other than that, there's no reason that the guild would care how our fucking furniture looks.
But we have to assume that she was looking around before she got here as well. She could have been studying the patrol patterns, the strength of our guard presence here, where they go, what escape routes there might be from the castle. If we're assuming the worst here, she's gotten a pretty good look, at least at the ground floor.
Your discussion is suddenly interrupted by a knocking on the door. You notice Lord Tannen puts his hand up and says, "Apologies, I'll see what the issue is." And he walks over to the door, opening it slightly, and you can hear a brief sort of like whispering of words. And then you see Lord Tannen nods his head. He closes the door and he turns to you all and he says, counselors, I need to step away for a moment. Are we about done here? There's a few additional details. The date of the expedition to the Stone Crown Mountains. Is there other business you wish to discuss? Should I return as soon as I can, or are we done for the day?
Who was that at the door, Tannen?
Just a messenger. There's somebody that needs to speak with me on a bit of an urgent basis. I don't want to keep them waiting.
Well, you can handle your business, Tannen. Any discussion we have will just be finished shortly, I imagine. But no need for official record keeping.
All right, you see he nods. Excellent. Well, I will see how long this takes, and I will swing back by, and if it just so happens that you're still in chambers, then I will just come back in, and if not, no worries. I will simply see you, I'm sure, fairly shortly thereafter. And you see he gives you a nod as he opens the door and exits.
Hey, if he gets to leave, I get to leave.
Well, we need to decide what we're going to do about this Milena situation. Do we let it go and let them make their move? Do we send some spies?
What's their move again? Like the guild says they don't want to be in charge. They're not going to attack us.
The guild won't, but see, they don't know that we know they're connected. So if she attacks us, or attacks something specific, it would just seem like mercenary retaliation for declining their services. But it could be disguised attack or hit for the guild, and that's what I'm worried about. Mielia is smart. She's evil. We've already seen what she can do and pieces she can manipulate.
Yeah,
We
and
can't
she put an inexperienced person in charge, and she feels like she's in charge. I don't think the guild's threatening here.
So your vote is to let them make a potential move, I should say,
What
if any.
move? To attack us?
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
If any, or some kind of move, if any. But you're a wait and see.
Yeah, me too. I vote for that one.
I think I obviously could be completely wrong, but this is quite a mountain we've made of this little hill.
But yeah, it could 100% be. Which is why I think you all should go with that dwarf on that expedition and learn what you can about those mountains and those tunnels. And I will stay here and uh, do regent things.
Yeah, I can stretch my legs.
We should just double up the guards.
Yes, I'll make sure patrols are strengthened, especially in the area around where Keenseeker is. Maybe I'll go to that lady's bar. I will not drink her ale, but I'll maybe do something else, like eat the food or something. But
All right. Sounds like a plan. Tabard, are you excited? We're going tunneling.
Speaking of Tavern, um, Tavern, I think it's time we had a discussion. Now that it's just us in this room here.
Do I need mead?
No.
We're all
What?
here because we love you.
Blixel pulls out a mead from under his coat and hands it to Tabard.
Hold on, let me read my card again. Let me see if I'm gonna have an opportunity to use it.
I think you may have picked something up when you went over to that shadow place y'all
No,
were
Blix.
talking about.
Yeah. I thought Blix. Yeah, I thought Blix will pick something. Yeah, okay, sorry, different thing. Yeah.
I'm clean. I got a clean bill of health when I came back. The doctors checked me out.
There's
The
a lot
priest,
of
I mean.
yeah, there's a lot of things surrounding that Oryx individual. There's the cult that showed up here. There's this signet ring that now is in our possession.
I
There's
never
you.
picked up the ring.
Hang on, hang on. I'm not accusing you of anything, Tavard. You were standing at the edge of my bed. You were like drooling and muttering. Then there was that time that we smelt fish in your room. There's just a lot of odd things that have been going on with you. And before you go on this journey, I think it's best if we, you know, that, what was that Maya girl that attacked Serena? Well, we should get you a remove curse scroll, I think. I'm not quite sure if you're cursed, but I think it'd be a good thing. Scrub you clean, buddy.
I think I'm perfectly fine. But I mean, if it makes you guys feel better, sure. I won't argue with that.
Yeah,
I'm willing to allocate the money to get a scroll of remove curse if it's able to be found.
Well, let's just say hypothetically, I talked to the church and they, just to try to alleviate your concerns, of course, and they didn't find anything. But I mean, maybe they didn't look. I'm sure I'm fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay. I think, just in case. I mean, this scroll or something. If you want to do some magic, just in case, sure.
I know I can't insight another player, but he really makes me want to.
I mean, we know there's something going on with him. Like,
Yeah.
You
that's some
guys,
paranormal activity shit.
Yeah,
you
man.
guys would also know through Tavern's background that he likes to talk. Like, nope, I'm good. Nope, that's just an arm missing.
Yeah.
No,
Wait,
that
so
nail went through all the way through my foot. That's fine. That's normal.
I'm just going to look at him and say, well, all that I heard was that you were okay with us giving it a shot, so I think we should. Just in, as a precautionary measure before you go on your adventure.
If it makes you feel good, sure. I mean, I'm all about the team.
Well,
Okay.
before we invest money in a remove curse scroll, maybe we should consult the professionals. I mean, these are symptoms that developed after the fact. So maybe if we go back to the church and tell them what has been happening, they may have some better idea of how to treat it that may not be so pricey.
I'm not impressed with the work they did the first time around.
Well, and I wonder if they can, like, to make you guys feel better, maybe they could detect that I'm perfectly fine first, right?
Perhaps.
Yes. I mean, and also meeting, a god of the shadow world could be a bit of a more intense curse than they've seen before. If it is a curse, of course, but I'm willing to allocate some of the money we have towards it, just to be on the safe side. The
We need a
last thing we
letter.
need is one of you dying.
We need a letter from your doctor before you go on your field trip.
Make sure you've been fully vaccinated.
You can cast it, right, Celine? If we get it.
In fact, I can copy it and learn it so that we can use it whenever we need to.
Double the reason why we should have it. You guys are literally diving into dark tunnels, so you may need it again.
Let's do it.
Did we already try the healing hands of Avani on you? Just to be sure it's not some kind of disease you picked up.
I don't remember any of that mumbo jumbo, but I mean, if it makes you guys feel better, of course.
Come
I'm
here.
not concerned at all.
Come here. Blixel's walking towards Tavern with his hands out.
Thanks for putting up with us, Tavern.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, you guys know when Tavern says, "Oh, it's okay," that really means he's concerned.
I'm gonna lay hands on Tavern, one on each side of his face, on each cheek, with the pinkies touching his ears.
And what is it that you are attempting to do here? Heal 5 points or
I'm
cure?
trying to cure disease.
Okay, so this feeling washes through you, Tavern. You don't feel any different. Based on the way this ability's written, I don't think you get any indication that there is or isn't something there. So I would just say you do it. You don't notice anything different, Blixel. And Tavern, you don't feel any different.
Avani bless you.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure it worked.
All right, Blixel gives him a tender kiss on the forehead, winks at him, and then goes back to his seat.
You broke the moment.
I will When Tannen returns, we'll figure out when this date is of when y'all will be leaving. And then between that time, we'll get the scroll. Saline will copy it and save you from hopefully
Fish smell.
becoming a fish man.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe.
you don't want to turn into a fish moilin. They're ugly.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tavern.
I was just gonna say, when I was on that other side looking to see if I could find that magical item and everything, it was kind of nasty in there. I mean, kind of close to the sewer water, but it was just nasty in there.
All right. So as you guys are discussing and formulating your future plans, I think we can go into a little bit of expedited timing here. So what I will say, and I will give you guys breaks to break out of this if you wish. But today is currently the 20th of Faniel. If you wait here for say another hour or so, Lord Tannen actually does not return. So unless you're trying to send for him, it seems as though he's going to be busy probably for an extended period of time. You're not sure why, but yeah, he doesn't return immediately. Are you guys good with just kind of moving on to the next day, or is there any immediate action you wish to take from that?
Good, moving on.
All
Can
right.
I roll for my restructuring of the guards?
You can. So my assumption here is that you're willing to dedicate basically your downtime to doing this, right?
Oh yeah, top
Okay.
priority because I want to start getting some solid leads.
Okay, so let me see. I'm thinking this is just going to be a skill check, but let me see our downtime options. Let me see if I can make this fall under one of them, just to make it a bit more built right into this. So, would you say it's fair to say that what you're trying to do here is make good relationships with the various leaders of all these different branches and kind of get them all communicating well and talking together and sharing information and such?
Yes, but in a way in which I'm informing them that this is part of their job description and that there will be a reporting hierarchy so things are a little more airtight and not so willy-nilly of whoever feels like sharing whatever information they want to share.
Okay, so what I'm going to say then is when we get to the downtime action part, let's have you use the gain contacts option, and then you can choose whichever difficulty you wish there, following those rules. My assumption will be that means you've had some significant meetings with these folks. You've actually forged potentially relationships with them, friendship or just superior to underling, like, hey, I need you to get in line. I need this done this way. And that's going to sort of create those bonds that you're going to be able to draw upon. And then I'm also going to have you go ahead and throw me a blind check here. And this is going to represent not the social aspect, but the actual reading reports and trying to do a structure. So this essentially is built off your intelligence. So you can go ahead and throw that blind check when you wish. Remember, you've got hero points. If you have inspiration, it's something you could use if you wish.
Okay. Let's throw some hero on that.
All right, I will add 2 to that.
Maybe you guys should give me a different job.
Just documenting that one to see how well you did. We'll notice the results as we get further. Okay, so that was the 20th of Faniel. That day will then pass by. We'll move to the next day, which is 21st of Branlin. 21st Branlin of Faniel. There's no specific events or anything you have. You do eventually kind of see Lord Tannen just in the castle, kind of attending to his normal detail. He does mention, hey, let's get the details of that expedition ready to go. So assuming you guys are all good with kind of briefly meeting and going over the details, he'll just pull you guys all back in the council chamber. Essentially what he tells you is that Mr. Greybelt is good leaving anytime basically within say by today's the 21st, he can leave as soon as the 24th, all the way through, say, the 32nd. If for some reason you wanted to push this into the next month, he potentially could, but he would like to go by the 32nd if at all possible. Do you guys have any particular preference on like when you leave, how soon you leave?
Well, is it possible on this same day, after this council meeting here? I mean, whatever we decide on, like, Vin's cool with the 24th, because, the weather's getting bad, and if you're going to start some kind of expedition, you don't want to get snowed in or whatever. But can he spend some time seeing if he can track down a remove curse scroll?
Yeah, I mean, that is not something that's like super uncommon. So if you're just trying to get it for like the typical price, I would say that would be no problem to do that. And I can find that for you here in a moment.
And my vote would be sooner the better, so that we can go and take care of that and then get back.
And Tavern has 458 gold pieces. So I'd like to keep a couple gold pieces for the bar, of course, but I can donate to help for you guys' concern if need be.
So remove curse is a 3rd level spell. You're able to track that down for 200 gold pieces.
Nice.
I will pay for it.
Okay. So feel free to deduct 200 gold pieces, add scroll over remove curse. If someone's reading that immediately, just remember it has to be on their spell list. They have to be high enough level to use it. I'm assuming you've got someone in your group for that, but if not, you can always try to hire someone.
I can do it, but I would like to copy the scroll into my spell book. So that's 50 gold per level, right? So 150 plus materials and stuff.
That sounds right, but I would have to reference those rules since those only come up every so often.
I think the materials are the gold. It's just that and then the time.
Yeah.
So however much time we need, because that might delay our departure.
I don't think it takes like days and days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with 3rd level, it's probably going to be, I think, like 6 hours, but I could be wrong.
You are correct. For each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours and 50 GP.
Yeah, so that's not going to be an issue for you at all. Okay, so we can sort of fast forward that. Tavern, you're good giving the scroll to Celine so she can get in her book so she can get in the cast it on you?
Well, I mean, it's good for her to practice, so I'll go ahead and let her practice on me if she wants.
Man, he's generous.
All right.
I'm a giver.
All right, fair enough. So you have the scroll now scribed into your book, Celine. Safe to assume that at some point in these couple of days, you're then casting the spell onto Tavern.
Yes.
Okay, so I will say very similar, like what you saw with Blixel. You cast the spell. There's no indication of whether anything happens. Tavern, you don't feel any different, so you have no idea if it did anything.
Should we keep him under advisement for a couple of days? Watch him, see if he has any more night terrors or whatever?
I think it was just some of the food I ate. I don't know. I'm good.
He seems fine. I think he just likes fish. Were you eating fish in bed?
No, that wasn't me. You guys said you smelled it in the hallway. That's what I'm going with.
Okay. I would just say that before we leave, Blixel would like to up the amount of guards we have in the castle, make sure the locks get changed, and grab his armor if it's done.
So your armor will definitely be done before you leave. That's no problem. Now, when the things that you say, the key here is just kind of stating things is totally fine. But if you're looking for like a mechanical advantage, like when you say double up the guards, that has to come with some kind of an associated cost, right? In order for it to have a mechanical effect. So give me an idea, now that we can go to 1/10 of a gold bar, is this something you're willing to spend like 200 gold pieces on overtime to have the castle staffed significantly higher for a period of time?
I'm okay with that as long as everyone else is okay with spending 1/10 of a bar for it. I just feel with all the different things happening, and us leaving, it's a little bit more open. So I'd be willing to, at least for when we're gone, make the guards stronger in place. So if no one else objects, yeah, I'll spend a tenth of a bar on it.
No objection here.
Yep.
Okay, so at 200 gold pieces, I'm even going to say that gives you double up guards for a month.
Okay, good. We got to make sure this place is secure. We've had too many security lapses.
Wages are low. They're going to unionize soon.
Who's unionizing?
Don't worry about it.
It's not allowed.
This is a social concern for many years in the future.
Okay, so domain sheet has been updated. The castle is very much staffed at this point. The next day, 22nd of the month, Vin, I need you to roll me a D10, please.
All right.
Okay, so you don't hear anything immediately, but you guys are planning to leave on the 24th, right? Is that what you guys agreed on?
Yep.
Okay.
I think so.
All right, so on the 23rd, you guys get alerted to a very strange situation that the guards essentially report this up through the chain, which eventually gets to you, Serena, and Sergeant Morningfall asks you to come down to his barracks, his like guard offices, because he wants to show you something. He says, come right away as soon as you can.
Maybe it's the dead serial killer.
That's what I was thinking.
I do.
Okay, so when you make your way down there and you go, you've been here once before when you talk to Sergeant Morningfall. When you actually go into his office, you see that there is a body-shaped figure on his desk that is currently covered with a sheet. And when you enter, you see like he waits for you to close the door, and then without any real ceremony, he pulls it back, and you notice a awfully gray and bluish skinned humanoid creature that seems to be about 6 feet tall. You see, he essentially explains to you that this body was discovered in his office, just lying here, and there was a little note next to it stating that this was a doppelganger, this was the serial killer, and it says the job is complete. And he looks at you very confused as he hands you this note.
Well, that's a relief. Yeah, we may have engaged the services of a third party.
You see he nods, and he will say, well, I have to tell you also that Kelvin Von Hall, if you remember, he's the chief investigator of the city guard. I haven't seen him in the past few days. I've asked my men to look around for him, but I haven't seen him. I don't know a lot about these creatures, but I have heard that they mimic other people, right?
Wow.
It's always someone on the inside.
Well, continue your search. Hopefully he turns up, or at least his body, so we can put him to rest. But this is great news that our streets are a little bit safer. How are you liking the changes that we're instituting?
So far, it seems okay, but as we spoke several days ago, it's the funding really that's the problem. Things are getting better, General, don't get me wrong, but if there's anything you can do to get more funding to this office, that would go a long way to making the men more happy, and just money makes everything better, as I'm sure you know.
Certainly does. Certainly does. Well, thanks for letting me know about this right away, and I think we'll put out a town proclamation letting them know that this case has been closed. And
I think we need to give it a little bit first, don't we? Just to make sure, You hate to say that it was closed and all of a sudden something else happens again. Although I think we're good, don't get me wrong, but that would make us look really bad.
We'll assume that you share those thoughts once Serena gets back to the council chamber tavern.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. Future
Fair
consideration.
enough.
He sleepwalks in to the.
It's like, I was here once before. Here's my thoughts. All right,
Before I leave the office, I make sure that I encourage everyone to keep up the good work and obviously keep an eye out for copycats and, continue to keep the streets safe and to follow the new patrol patterns that I instituted that are a bit more equal between the rich neighborhoods and the poor neighborhoods.
They seem accepting of this. I will say overall, you get the impression that most people are not happy, but you kind of, chart this up to just people don't like change in general. But overall, you get a feeling that your implementation of these plans is going pretty well, actually. Like there's not a huge issue or anything like that. Just typical grumbling anytime something changes, and you have a feeling that will probably fade over time, aka if you keep rolling as well as you did this time.
On my way out, I think to myself, these guys need a pizza party.
All right, continuing to kind of zoom through time here a bit. So that was resolved. Okay, on the 24th, as you are getting ready to leave for your expedition, some men will return to the castle, and Vin, you will be informed that based on that D10 that you rolled, Arthur was killed in the field. Only one of his men returned, and he basically fills you in that the small expedition that was put together with Arthur in charge, they did track down this individual, but he kind of was giving them the slip in the terrain that they got to. He's over in the province of Mountain's Edge, and he was much relying on the terrain and kind of using a combination of the darkness and the trees and things to kind of divide the guards up. Arthur, the way this guy explains it is Arthur kind of got a bit confused perhaps on the best way to move forward, but really didn't want to let you down, really wanted to try to come home victorious. Eventually he got separated from his men, and it seems as though this individual did indeed manage to kill Arthur before this last guy kind of ran up to him, and he fled once again. Knowing it was down to one person out of a group of 4, he decided it wasn't worthwhile to continue to keep trying to chase this guy because they wanted to make sure you guys were all informed of what exactly happened.
Son of a bitch.
All right, and that takes us to, we are on the 24th of the month. And if there's nothing else urgent, Petitioner Greybelt has got the expedition team ready to go. And essentially, he's ready to meet you guys out in, we'll say, the city square. And he's ready to kind of head off as soon as you guys get there.
Serena's been packed for days.
I'll go on my way of seeing everybody off. I'll go, oh, I didn't have time to find anybody to send with you all. So please do not, don't die.
We'll try not to.
All right, and with those very stirring and emotional, rousing words, you guys sped up. Eventually, the group makes their way to the town square. So I'm going to go ahead and put you guys out into the city. All right, we find ourselves out in the city proper, and there's a lot of bustling activity going on as usual, with presumably no other immediate preparations that you guys need to undertake. Petitioner Greybelt is here, Dwally Greybelt, and he has this group of folks kind of lined up near him, and he greets you all with some joy and fanfare as it looks like they're all biting at the dip, ready to go. He will kind of introduce you to each member of his little group here. So let me pull up that list real quick as he kind of walks through these folks and just gives you some basic information on each one, how long he's known some of them, the individuals of the skill sets, that sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal this to all. All right, so this is the expedition team. He will kind of go through and discuss each individual. The notes there that you see are either notes that he's mentioning to you or that you obviously can tell just by, visually seeing these people. So once he goes through the kind of all the miners, the provisioner, the scouts, the cook, kind of explains them all, you see there's this other individual that he points to and he says, "Oh, and this is a great addition to the team here. Let me introduce you to Thorn. Thorn, step up, introduce yourself."
So you guys see he was like I guess he was like sitting down on like maybe like a hay bale or something, and he kind of stands up, and as he does, you guys see he is very tall. He's 6'6", 6'7". He's up there. He's very, very muscular, and brawny. He's got mangy red hair, and his beard is just as mangy. It's long, and he has this a very distinct crimson headband. He's got a shield and a few axes right on his right hip, and he stands right on up, and he kind of looks at everyone and says, "Boy, how you be doing?"
Very good. How are you?
He just kind of nods his head back.
Nice to meet you.
Oi, Wally here says you're here to help us.
Oh yeah, this is going to be muscle, kind of like you, Thorn, but, they're official muscle and really good at what they do from what the notes say, so I think we're going to be in good hands. Folks, do you have any questions specific? Before we get there, obviously we've got about a little day, maybe over a day to get to the location. Then we're going to have to find the entrance. That might take a little bit of time. And then we're going to plunder on in there and see what we can see. But any questions before we get to going?
Should I have packed a pickaxe?
Oh, well, we've got miners on staff, and we've got quite a bit of supplies here. And actually, if you look back there, and you see he kind of points to this bustling crowd, you can see there is a hand-drawn wagon that looks pretty laden. He says, "That's all supplies we're taking with us. Food and the provisions and some rope and picks and a whole lot of things that we don't know what we're going to need there. Of course, we probably won't be able to take this in the tunnels with us, but this way we won't have to carry all the stuff."
Nice.
Hey, Adam, I have a question. It's a dwarf first dwarf kind of question. I mean.
I'm sorry, are you asking about these dwarves?
Well, I'm just saying, do they seem accepting of myself? I mean, I try to clean myself up, got a nice haircut, that kind of thing. But
I will say you will notice that they, with all the activity going around them, they don't really seem like they're really paying attention to you guys much at all. Dwally certainly is, like he's the one engaging with you, and Thorn as well. But the rest of the crew is kind of in the back. Some of them are kind of chatting to themselves. Occasionally others are just kind of like elbowing each other in the ribs, so like, oh, pay attention kind of thing. But yeah, they don't seem like they're really paying much attention to you all.
Now, this may not, this is not a role-playing thing or anything like that, but needless to say, I'm going to be watching them, just kind of learning their mannerisms and things like that. So
sure enough, and yes, as you probably imagine, these are all Baruch-Ajik dwarves. None of these are from Merklon.
Yeah, but just for my role play background, kind of what I'm trying to accomplish.
Sure thing, yeah.
Thorn is going to kind of walk up to Serena, and he kind of leans in and says, "Are you the muscle they're talking about? You?"
Obviously.
It's an odd weapon. It's an anchor on a stick.
I know, pretty neat, huh? Better hope you're not on the receiving end of it. It stings.
No. I like anchors. And he shows you his shield. It's got a big anchor painted on it.
Ah, twinsies!
Who else among your group fights with their hands?
Well, that would be me.
I mean, he uses weapons, I'll be honest with you. He doesn't go barehanded.
Thorn like turns around and he like looks eye level to where he thinks you should be. Oh. Was that you?
He's little, but he's sturdy.
I still getting used to being around dwarves.
Good things, little packages, you know.
You just gotta keep an eye on him, make sure he doesn't see a pretty lady or you lose him.
He's the one to worry about. I thought for sure it would be that pretty one over there with the black hair and the long ears.
Actually, him too.
Is someone talking about me? My ears are burning.
That's a cool trick.
Oh, wait, no, I put hot sauce on there. Hold on.
Well,
Washes the sauce off his ears.
just to catch you all up to speed, our job is to make sure none of these fine people here die. I don't quite know what they're looking for, but I'm supposed to be helping you guys out mostly, so I don't hope I'm intruding at all.
It's always great to have another set of hands. We're hoping to make some new discoveries and be able to report back to town. Let's get out of this town.
Does the Count look like his father?
I don't know, never saw his father.
Really? I saw his dad twice.
What was he like?
I mean, Count like?
Hmm.
So snooty.
Black cloak, widow's peak.
I wouldn't say any of that. I heard he was handsome and all. I saw him from afar, but mainly I heard stories.
Oh, then he definitely doesn't look like his father. That guy oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, either way. Maybe when we get back, you all can introduce me.
Sure. Why not? He loves meeting new people.
I look back at Diwali.
All right, is that enough chit chatting? Are we all ready to go or what?
Oh, I was born ready.
All right, well then let's go. And you see he kind of like puts his hand in the air and circles it. And you notice all the crew there kind of look up and kind of jump to attention, begin gathering their little bits of things and so forth, and move over to the cart as the miners seem to, like, two of them take the cart, one on either end, and start pulling it forward. It's like this big hand cart, you can think of it as. And yeah, the procession starts leading out of the city here and out into the wilds. So team, as we move away from the city here and start making our way of this day expedition to the Stone Crown Mountains and see what we see there, as we are just about halfway through our session, let's go ahead and pause here and take our 15-minute break. See everybody back in 15. Alrighty, we are back on the second half, everyone. Let's go ahead and get you guys back over to the main map. Well, actually, this will work just as well because you guys are now traveling over land. So yeah, your instruction from Dwali is that you guys are heading southeast to the Stone Crown Mountains. Obviously, you can see here that Carolinian is in the center of the domain. So your expectation is that you're heading something like this way-ish. He said it could be a day or a little bit more than a day of travel. So yeah, that's essentially what occurs here. So this cart is being pulled by the miners. You notice that of the four of them, there's like two of them on it, and then they kind of swap taking turns. Well, two will carry it or pull it, I should say, for like an hour or two. Then they'll switch off with the other two. Is there anything in particular or any of these members of the team that you're trying to get to know better or anything you're trying to discuss other than just kind of marching forward?
Adam, can we see the list again? I couldn't find it in the handouts. I don't
It's
know.
under Player Handouts Miscellaneous, and it's titled The Expedition Under the Stone Crown Mountains, but I'll go ahead and pop it up for you again.
Thank you.
Hey, Adam, in case this means anything later on, just as a reminder, Tabard was a miner before for a while as well, so he'll probably be talking to them about, just trying to fit in kind of thing with them, maybe helping them push the cart if they need a fifth wheel. So.
Okay, give me and now again, I'm assuming based on what you said earlier, Tabard, that you've basically tried to change some of your appearance. You're trying to fit more in with the Brew Kajik type dwarves. So I imagine this means like changing your hairstyle, not wearing clothes that are known to be associated with Mercalad, and so forth, right?
Yeah, but I'm also going to be very quiet because I've probably not yet worked on my pronunciation. I mean, I'll say some words, right, but not like. I won't be talking like Bill with long conversations. So
fair enough. All right, go ahead and give me a blind check to represent how well you're sort of fitting in this new guise is. Yeah, so pretty much immediately as you kind of are even getting close to them, you're getting these like kind of sneers and things. You realize that they are not fooled in the slightest. They recognize you as not being one of them, and they don't seem to want to have much to do with you. They're not, you do notice Dwali kind of falls back and kind of talks to them a little bit. You hear a little bit of a heated discussion, and he's kind of like, kind of trying to smooth things over. So I would say you definitely know that they realize that you are likely from Mercalad based on this reaction, but Dwali seems to be trying to get them to, not have you be treated so differently, but it looks like it's a tough sell. As you can imagine, again, this hatred between these two groups is just so long and historical, and it is filled with so much bad blood that it's hard to just kind of get over it any short period of time.
Yeah, I just wanted to roll dice today, and just
good start.
Go ahead with my normal.
Results.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to make sure that all was well in the world. Yeah.
Look, you got a card named after you. You should be honored.
No kidding, huh?
Blixel is going to try to talk to Alice Bladewalker, the scout that talks to plants, and figure out if the plants talk back.
Okay, and as you approach her, you see she has these like eyes that are kind of small, but she wears these spectacles that makes her eyes look really big. So as you approach her and she raises her head, she's like, "Oh, hi. Oh, the plants. Oh, yes. Oh, everybody always asks about the plants, but I'm telling you, you can learn a lot from plants, right? You have to see like how they sit. You have to see how they're growing. You can tell which way they're getting sunlight, how much water's in the ground. You can learn so much from plants. And sometimes," and she looks around to see if anybody else is listening carefully, "they tell you other things." And she gives a real exaggerated wink.
Like what?
Like how to have a good time.
Oh, you like the fancy plants, huh?
Well, some of them. Yeah, some of them.
All right. Well, if it gets a little hairy in there, make sure you find me, and we can de-stress or something. All right, Alice.
You see, she smiles and says, "Oh, I'll take you up on that."
All right. Don't get killed out there. All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Anybody else have any of these individuals they're trying to learn more about, or anything else they wish to do other than just kind of keep trucking along?
Just want to note that, yes, Thorn is he kind of lingers in the back. He follows from a good 10 feet behind, and he just trots along. His main goal is that they don't get ambushed from behind, or if they do get ambushed from in front, at least he can see it happening. So
All right, fair enough. Okay, so you guys continue plodding along here with the cart being drawn. Occasionally, you hear different group members kind of start speaking up. You notice one of them, who you know is named Benane, Blackbender. After traveling for about 4 hours or so, he raises his hand and says, "Oi, can we just get a little bit of a break here? We're not in such a rush, are we? How about just take 10 minutes or so, stretch me leg out?" And you notice Dwally's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's fine. Well, let's get you some time. All right, everybody, we're breaking for, say, 20 minutes. 20-minute break, 20-minute break. You guys get a chance to kind of stretch your legs here, spread about, that sort of thing. There's not a whole lot going on in this area. You've been through these parts before, and in fact, you're pushing into Mountain's Edge, so for some of you, you're getting a little bit closer to your home, but this is still pretty far from the hamlet that you would know those surrounding areas really well. But after that 20-minute break or so, you notice Benane is like, all right, I'm ready. Let's do it. And just kind of like taps it and hits his leg a little bit. He continues to limp, but it seems like he's not any worse for wear. So the expedition continues moving on. You guys spend about 6 hours or so moving through the land. It's very much as you expect. A lot of the trees and things that you've gone through pretty much cut down. There's some areas where there's some old growth, but mostly it's either the quick growth trees or just raised land. So a lot of open area, that sort of thing. Mountain's Edge is the one province of Cariele that is a little bit still forested compared to the others. Obviously, there's trees in all three provinces, but this is the least developed provinces. So you're seeing the most trees here than you've seen, say, in Riverford or Melivienne. So that's a little bit of a change for you guys. But yeah, you keep pushing on, and after a full 8 hours journey, you're getting closer. You can certainly see the mountains in the distance. Dwally calls a halt to the expedition, and he says, okay, I think it's going to be probably another three hours tomorrow before we get to the foot of the mountains, and then we're really going to have to look around. I know there's going to be an entrance around there somewhere, or I'm pretty sure there's going to be an entrance, but we're going to have to look for it. It might take us some time. So everybody just make yourself comfortable. You guys, and you see he points to your group, why don't you guys do the whole, be on guard throughout the night, if that's okay? You guys are probably accustomed to that, right?
Oh, yeah. We can handle that, Dwally.
I'll give you guys a hand.
You notice as you guys are making these arrangements, the elderly cook, a woman by the name of Jocelyn, she walks up pretty slowly, has this little stick that she seems to use as like a walking cane, and she says, I'm taking orders for what you want for food. Bread and honey. We've got the rations, but bread and honey's fresh. Is that good?
Yeah. Not much cooking involved with that, though, huh?
Well, some of it was pre-cooked, but not right now.
Does the dwarf that has the limp, is that something that could get fixed with magical healing, or is it something where it's like unfixable?
You don't think it would just be like cure wounds would do the trick, because it's more of like a significant injury, but yeah, you think magic probably could heal it, but it would be something more significant.
Would like lay on hands work, or it would have to have like a certain amount of hit points or something to.
I'm not imagining it's like a hit point value. It's more like probably the level of like lesser restoration, where it can restore something to that effect. So if you had like a second level cure spell, I'd probably allow something like that to work.
I mean, I have a cure wounds I could do at second level, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, and you think that might help, but yeah, to like actually fix broken limbs and things, which again, this is not necessarily a broken limb, but you've got the impression that, he's probably had this limp for a while. Overall, he seems okay with it, so you're not like immediately concerned or anything like that. But yeah, you imagine it's probably like a second level, lesser restoration, that kind of level of power to actually like cure this limp.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I won't attempt that then in that case. I just sort of look sadly over at him.
All right, fair enough. So as you guys are kind of making camp here, and you notice Jocelyn going around and dishing different food out to folks, both Alice and Griffin, the two scouts, they kind of exit the camp on either way after chatting briefly with one another. And from a distance, you can kind of make them out doing a big circle pattern around the camp itself and just kind of getting eyes on things. It takes them about 30 minutes or so before they come back, and they both kind of confer with one another. If anybody's close enough to overhear them, you basically hear them say, yeah, no, nothing to worry about at all. No concerns, nothing even out of the ordinary looks like an issue here. So, yeah, you guys all managed to have a simple meal here of bread and honey, maybe a few other minor odds and ends, perhaps, water, tankards, that sort of thing. They do go into the cart for some various supplies, mainly like the foodstuffs, and you notice actually one of the miners takes out this really small drum, and as he's sitting there and smoking on a pipe of tobacco, he starts playing the drum. It's very quiet, you're kind of surprised to hear, but as he taps it, it does make out almost like an echoing whoosh sound, but it's pretty quiet. You don't think it could be heard from more than, say, 20 feet away or so, so you're not really concerned about like giving away your presence, if that even was a concern. But yeah, the night goes by uneventfully so as you guys take watches, whatever order it is, nothing comes of note. And again, you assume with a group this large, you probably don't have to worry about too much unless it's something that's really large or not really concerned about numbers, that sort of thing. Yeah, so you enjoy playing alongside him, and yeah, the two of you guys play. He's not really good, you can tell, Lixel, but he tries to follow along. You try to follow along. You like keep having to, go back to different areas. Like if he starts speeding up, you try to speed up to keep in tune with him. He'll start to slow down. You start to slow down. So you can tell you're certainly far more skilled than he is. But yeah, the night goes by without too much issue. But yeah, you have that little bit of enjoyment with the meal and so forth before you guys push on in the morning. You guys spend, much like Dwally said, about another 2.5, 3 hours before you find yourself at the foot of the mountains. The sun is up, it's bright, shining down on this area. It is the next day, so now you are looking at the 25th. The temperature this morning is a little bit warmer than it was yesterday. You're also feeling that the wind has picked up. So it's kind of not anything that's concerning, but it's what would be classified as a moderate wind, meaning that, long range shots, there might be a little bit of issues there, or like odors and things get carried further away. Fog clouds might get dispersed more quickly, those kind of things, because the wind is a bit stronger. But yeah, you guys are at the foot of the mountains. Dwally lets you know that, he and his crew will kind of search around and look for the entrance to the Stone Crown Mountains that they're expecting to be here. If any of you are interested in assisting him, aka survival, you think would go a long way here, or if you happen to be skilled in cartographer's tools, that would also be helpful. If you have both, then you'd probably be a dynamo at this task.
I can help with survival. I'm afraid I may roll poorly, but I'll do it.
Can I help because I'm proficient?
You can if you wish. If you're proficient and you're assisting, go ahead and throw a skill check. Dean, remind me, which skill were you using there? Was that survival?
Survival.
Okay.
Thorn is just going to be bodyguard. While they're all hunting and looking and they're distracted, he's going to be keeping an eye on them.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, Serena, just go ahead and throw a blind check when you're ready. And make sure you've got your token selected when you do that. Your token should be over on the right side of this map.
Can I give her Bardic Inspiration before?
Yeah, you can if you wish.
Sure. I'll give you Bardic Inspiration.
Go ahead and burn one of those, Blixel.
No, now Bardic Inspiration is a D6, I believe.
That's what it starts at. So if you're level 5, I think it goes up to D8 at level 5. Because I believe you're only multi-class 1 level, right? So you're 5 bard?
Yes.
Yeah, so it should be up to a D8 then.
Yep, D8.
Never mind.
Okay, well, so what I will say here is Tavern and Serena, you're trying to assist as best you can. You're not finding much out of interest here or anything that really, you notice that is really advantageous to finding holes. But Dean, it's almost like you have perfect vision to exactly where this thing is. You're not sure why. Maybe it's you see how the stones have fallen off the edifice of the mountain, and you literally are like, oh man, look how everything's falling down. There's got to be, if there's a breakage, and like you basically walk along this area for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you find exactly what you're looking for. Dwali is completely shocked, and he looks back to you and he says, oh, I thought this was going to take like a day or two. That's amazing. How did you do that?
With my eyes. Isn't it obvious? Look really high up there.
And you see he does incline his head, and he's like, but the way the wind blows, well, whatever. There's no point in talking about it now, but wow, that's amazing. I'm glad we brought you.
Very well. Let's get going.
All right, and yeah, you guys make your way over, and basically think of this as you're in these little hills that before you get to the actual mountains. So you kind of go up this little hill, it dips down, you go up another little hill, and then it dips down again. And this time, when it dips down, you notice as you get down into the valley of this dip that's just before the mountain, you kind of see that there is a like twist in the rock. Even looking straight at it, you can't tell that it actually goes inside the ground until you're really close. You don't even know how Dean saw it. Like, from the ground, there's no way you could even see this, but somehow he knew this was here. So as you guys go over these dips and get to this location, sure enough, with the twist, you can see that this goes right into the ground. It's very odd. You don't think, again, anybody even close by would necessarily see this. But, yeah, that's sure what it is. So Dwali holds his hand up and he says, all right, folks, stop. Okay, so we've got our entrance. Wow, this fortune seems to be with us. Maybe it's the gods. Who knows what it might be, but, well, we found it, so that's excellent, excellent. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Come around, all of you. Come here, the big guys, you. And you see he's pointing at all of you. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. If this is like some of the other expeditions that I've been on, then how it's going to be is that there's going to be like tunnels and stuff, right? So we'll go in and hopefully this tunnel goes far. If it dead ends right away, then we're going to have to come out and look for another tunnel, or we'll have to check the rock wall and see if maybe there's a spot where we can mine through. But, well, hopefully this just goes far, right? And it goes really far. If this feeds into what I assume is like the main series of tunnels, then this could be miles and miles and miles of tunnels. So we're going to have to be careful. What I would like everybody to do is you guys right here, you're going to be the guys in front. And then just in front of you is going to be Alice and Griffin, okay? Those are my scouts. So anytime we get to a spot where there's more than one way to go, I'm going to send a scout down each way, okay? They're going to go very carefully, very quietly, and they're going to see what they can see. They're not going to come back, and they're going to report that information to all of us. If we see anything that's dangerous, then we're going to come back and we're going to ask you guys to handle the danger, okay? And then if there's nothing dangerous, we keep going. We pick a direction if we have to. If they both go really far, then we're just going to have to pick one. But we got to be careful that we don't let things get behind us, right? Is this all making sense?
Should I be writing this down?
Thor
I love
nod.
it.
Okay, that's it. All right, then, let's see. Well, this dip, I don't think much will see it, so let's take off the cart what we have to take off, the food, the picks, and so forth. Maybe we leave the picks on for right now in case we sit. No, let's take the picks. Yeah, let's take the, okay. And you see he starts talking to his men and his women, and they start going through, taking all this different stuff. All right, then. Are we all ready? Do you have everything that you need? Lights, ropes, all that fun stuff.
A fine organized group we have.
I don't need lights.
All right, then. Let's go in. Make sure you can see. Be careful where you step. There's many, many different types of dangers down in these kind of places. The worst thing you can possibly do is go running off on your own. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Don't split the party. I get it.
Yeah, he looks directly at Tafford when he says that.
All right, team. So as you get into this area, the first thing you notice is, Boy, it's quite dark in there. Those of you with dark vision, of course, can see. The rest of you, give me an idea of what you're doing for light.
It's
All
in the
right.
chat.
All right, Dean, you cast that up real quick, and you are able to see. How about, I think it's Thorn. You need light to see, right?
Thorn would probably be I would imagine in between the party and the expedition with a torch kind of leading them along.
All right, fair enough. So with that lit up, you're able to now see the tunnels before you. And as you're looking through this way, let me just I'll do that in a moment. I'll throw Thorn on the side there in case you have to roll any skill checks for him. But yes, you see these vast tunnels. The first one you enter, you're basically, imagine that there's a hole that basically goes outside. You climb down it carefully, and you're finding this kind of a terrain, like what you see on the map here. So there's a bit of an opening that stretches forth. You're not necessarily seeing like blue gems or diamonds there, but you do notice that there are jagged rocks and that sort of thing. The tunnel height seems to vary quite significantly. Some places it's as low as perhaps 8 or 9 feet. Other places you see the height of the tunnel increases to more like 20 or 30 feet. You can see a general sense that this tunnel is going downwards deeper into the ground.
Does anyone have a piece of chalk or something?
We should mark.
We can mark the walls as we go, and that way, if we need to run out of here quickly, we can sort of follow our way out.
Dwali says, "Oh yes, of course, we've got that. We've got the chalk, chalk." And then you see one of the expedition crewmen, the miner. You notice Dizans. He like reaches over and holds up this piece of chalk, and then you see he hands to Dwali, and Dwali hands it over to you, Blixel. He says, "All right, go ahead. You're the marker."
Oh no, please. You be the marker. I need my hands to be on my swords.
Okay, that's all right. So let's see. And you see he draws a letter in Dwarvish, which anybody that speaks Dwarvish, you see it's just basically a large Dwarvish D, which you presume is for Dwali.
Hey, Adam, I'd like to make a check, maybe a good one today, to see if this area has been well traveled or, any other footprints other than ours.
Sure, yeah, and again, in rock terrain, that's going to be a bit challenging, but go ahead and throw me a survival check there, Tabard.
Yeah, but Adam, I'm due.
That's how
Well,
it works.
you say that. So what I will say is this area right here, you don't notice a lot of signs of travel. You can see that there's a bit of rock debris and stuff that seems to be scattered evenly here, or at least it is before your team's footsteps. Like if you look to to your forward, you don't see that there's like a dispersion of the debris or anything that would give you any kind of indication that like, oh yeah, it's being pushed around on a regular basis or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's not a complete failure is what you're saying. Got it.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, I guess.
That's Bill
As
Dice
good as
talk
you
right
can,
there.
Bill.
That means on that D10 you rolled a 10.
Woohoo!
If only someone else had done that earlier. Rip Arthur. I presume we're deep enough into the tunnel that the wind is not a factor anymore.
Yes, you are correct.
Okay.
All right, we'll just keep throwing like that. Just and a little add-on guy. Okay, so yeah, you're following this tunnel now, and just like Dwali said, the scouts go ahead. They're moving at a slow pace. So for mechanical purposes, your normal pace would be like 30 feet. These guys are moving about 20 feet. You see that they're moving very slow, and they're just kind of being very observant. They're looking to see what they see. All right, and as that happens, and you guys kind of push along further into this tunnel system, you move perhaps 20 feet, 30 feet, 60 feet, 100 feet, 200 feet, and it seems to be mostly a straight tunnel so far. After moving about 200, 300 feet or so, let's start with Tabard. Please roll me a D100.
Here we go.
Do we want to roll low?
I will say the roll isn't necessarily high is better or anything like that.
Right in the
Right in the middle.
Okay. Yes. All right. So as you guys are moving, you notice you kind of follow this tunnel. You turn a little bit as the tunnel itself is turning, and you spot a source of light. So you notice the scouts kind of hold their hands up in stop motion. Think of this as like raised fists. You notice both Alice and Griffin kind of pointing in that direction. Being a human and a halfling, you know that they don't have dark vision, so this obviously really sticks out to them. And you notice Alice turns back and says, "There's light over there. Light."
Adam, can we see the light ourselves?
So I'm imagining the scouts are about 20 feet in front of you, and so they're looking around the turn, so no. Now you, of course, can just walk up there if you wish.
Yeah, I want to kind of get an idea if the light is stagnant or glowing, or, is it like a firelight where it's flickering, those type of things as I'm walking up.
Okay, so Tavard, you walk on up, and you get to that sort of bend, and you turn and look in that direction. I would say you can see that the light is casting from a room, is what you would guess. It doesn't reach all the way to you, so you would have to get closer to try to like find the source of the light. But what you can tell from right now is that it is a yellowish light.
Fair enough. I'll wait for my party because, I'm not one to split the party.
Then I'll walk up and ask, if I walk up, can I see it too?
You can, yes.
Is it flickering?
It is not flickering, no.
I'm gonna look at Diwali where I assume I'm kind of like in front of him and we're separated, and I'm gonna look back and say, "Boy, Diwali, has anybody searched these tunnels before? I mean, they seemed well hidden, but
We
what
don't
do you
really know now, do we? Who's to say? I'm sure that there's some kind of people been down here before, but it's hard to say who knows when and how long ago."
And how exactly again did you hear about these here tunnels?
Oh, that's information back from the homeland.
So are dwarven tunnels?
Some of them may have been worked by dwarves in the past. Some of them have been lost to the dwarves over the years, and others of them have never been touched by a dwarf hand.
Can I walk over to one of the walls and kind of put my torchlight up and like kind of run it along and see, does it look like this has been worked?
As you approach the wall and put your torch close to it, the first thing you notice is a sound, almost like a chittering, and then your light catches as you see many minuscule insects, so small that you can only see them from about 5 feet away, scurrying along the surface of the rock tunnel wall.
At him or away?
Is it like spiders or?
Away from the torch. Not necessarily spiders. You get the impression of small beetles.
Looks
I'll
like
kinda
it's
brush 'em
a
all
yelp.
away. Yeah, I'll brush the torch along and see if I can like clear out the path. Does it seem worked?
Here it seems fairly rough, fairly natural.
All right, let's go see what this light is. It's probably just mushrooms or something.
Yeah, probably. Let's go.
Mushrooms? What are you talking about?
You don't know what a mushroom is? It's a little plant that grows in the underground or on dead trees and stuff.
And as you're speaking, you notice Alice goes, "Whoa, did you see that?" And she points back towards the light. She shakes your shoulder, Dean, as you were turning back to listen to your companions. The light just pulsed. It was like boom, and then boom. That was weird.
Maybe it is natural? Have you ever heard of these natural light sources in the deep tunnels?
You're asking that of Alice?
Yes.
She shakes her head. No, I don't have much time down here. Like at all.
Me neither. Is it out now, or just kind of do I look and what is it? Is it still out? Still lit? I guess.
The light is still there, yes. So if you watch it closely for a while, you will notice a pulse. So think of this as the light being fairly constant, and then suddenly the intensity of the light increases by maybe 10 to 20% for just like a second or two, and then it goes back to how it was.
Interesting.
I'm intrigued.
Well, I guess does it look like we could safely approach and investigate closer, looking at the ground and looking around for any natural dangers?
Yeah, let's get closer. Unless someone wants to sneak up there.
I could sneak up. I'm pretty good at that. And
Why
I'm
don't you just
due.
creep up a little bit and then let us know if it's safe to all go as a group, all right, Tabard?
I'm a bit too big for sneaking. But if you scream loud, I'll come and save you, small guy.
I'll give you a glare, and you know what it means. All right, Adam, I'm going to go ahead and do some stealthy stuff. I'm going to go up. Is there any way that, theater of the mind, so to speak, am I able to stay in the shadows or anything like that? Or how wide is this area kind of thing?
The distance between the light given off by the expedition team and then the light that's coming from this room is about 20 feet. So yes, if you want to go out front of the scouts and then go into the darkness that is between those two light sources, yeah, you could be in the shadows.
All right, I'll go ahead and do that. And I'll roll really well on my stealth check. So
All right, yeah, go ahead and throw that for me.
At least he's not cursed anymore.
And did you have your
We don't
token
know.
selected when you did that?
yeah, it looked like I did. I'll do it again.
Oh, and that looks like to me like it just reset. So, yeah. Okay, you try the best you can to move quietly, moving through the shadows. And yeah, you don't see any immediate reaction to your presence or anything like that. As you've gotten a little bit closer to this light, you can see a bit further as this tunnel turns. You notice that there is some significant tendrils that looks like fungal growth along the walls of this chamber forward of you. The tendrils themselves seem to be giving off this yellowish light. You also notice as you're looking here, you actually see your breath for a moment. It seems as though this room is significantly colder than the other areas of the tunnels.
Can I play my card at him?
You sure can.
Here comes the shadow portal.
Here we go
No.
again.
No. Thorn just turns around and starts kind of relaying the game plan for if they get attacked to the miners, so they all know what's up. You know where to go and hide. Points out who's supposed to protect who. Goes over the drills, and like as the guys behind them hear it, the party, the other party members, they kind of start to get a little pumped up because he sees them directing traffic a little bit.
Okay, excellent. So that card is in play now. You've seen what you've seen, Tavard. Anything else you'd like to do?
I'm gonna go back and just tell the group what I saw. Now, Adam, so how the tendrils and everything you said coming from the walls, was there like 5 feet, 10 feet? How would you describe that? Is there a distance or anything?
So the ground to the ceiling looks to be about 40 feet in that chamber, so much higher than in the tunnel that you're in right now. The tendrils don't seem to be on the ground, they're just along the walls. So you imagine that if you walked in there, the entire walls would probably be surrounded by tendrils, though you can't see the walls closest to you, of course, until you walk in. But yeah, the fungal growth seems to be all along the walls.
And Taver, did you see any other way to go? This was our only choice, yeah?
Adam, is there an answer to that? And then I have another question as well.
So following the tunnel that you have so far, you haven't seen any offshoots yet. So yeah, this certainly seems to be the only way to go.
And then also, because I have been in caverns before, can I do any form of a nature check or anything to see if I happen to know those what those items may be?
Sure, yeah, go ahead and give me a blind check.
May I help?
You would have to get closer and get up and to actually be able to see them, but if you're willing to do that, you can.
Sure. If he's standing in a safe spot, it must be safe for me as well.
Also, did he see a pulse happen, or no? It's just been steady.
Yes, he would have seen a pulse since he's been there. Yes.
And they
So-
just light up with light at that point, or
Yeah, so it's not, I mean, when I say pulse, just think of it as the intensity of the light increases subtly, briefly. So, yeah, it looks like the scripts are crashing. So, sorry, Taver, go ahead and throw me that roll again. All right, I got
imagine,
that
like,
one.
The light is breathing almost like it.
So Taver is clearly not proficient in nature. So Celine, if you are moving up there as well, obviously you're wearing what kind of armor again?
The kind that gives me disadvantage.
Okay, so go ahead and throw me a blind check first to see how quietly you managed to get up there. All right, Taver, you hear her coming from a mile away, but she does manage to get there. And now
I'm actually pretty happy about that because I'm just happy that somebody fails as bad as I did.
All right, so now she's standing in the dark with you, and yes, you're trying to look at this growth as well. Celine, throw me another blind check. So, best as you can tell, you might not be super familiar with like underground fauna and flora kind of stuff, but this flora, it looks to you to be just like natural growth. It is not sentient. It is not dangerous in any way. It's just bioluminescent fungal growth.
I quickly return to the party and communicate what I think.
Shouldn't we take some for research purposes?
Yeah, might as well.
Well, and I go back to the group too, and I'll tell the group that it is a little bit more colder in that area. So not sure if that means anything other than, maybe need to wear some warm clothes. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll walk up if it's safe.
my
All-
armor keeps me warm.
All right, so as you guys move further and approach inside the chamber of all this fungal growth, as a reminder, outside today, when you guys were first pushing in, it was about 48 degrees just before you guys made your way into the tunnels. Once you've been in the tunnels, it's warmer in the tunnels. Obviously, you're not dealing with the outside air and the wind and all of that kind of thing. So you could think of it probably being closer to about maybe 60 degrees. But as you're getting closer to this chamber, it feels more like outside again. So more like in the mid 40s kind of thing. Certainly not dangerous cold, but definitely a significant difference in the temperature. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be any dangers if you guys would like to enter.
Feel like we're getting baited.
Yeah,
I don't trust anyone.
Blixel's happy to keep going.
All right, so team and expedition slowly enters this chamber and looks around. It's kind of beautiful, in fact, all this really bright light. It is indeed colder in here. You can kind of see your all of your breath as you're moving through the areas. You definitely can tell that the cold is coming from the fungal growth and the tendrils. The closer to the walls you get, the more cold they actually are. But no, it does not seem like there's any other dangers here. You can see the tunnel twists off in two different directions. So you can think of this as sort of like a northwest or a north.
Hey, Celine.
Can I? Sorry.
Do you think we could collect some of this?
Well, I've never seen this exact kind before. If I'm interpreting the DM's words correctly, I don't think they're dangerous, but I wouldn't know necessarily how to harvest them.
Well, maybe you could help me. I'm proficient in nature and might want to use this ingredients in the herbalism kit moving forward. I like to collect little mushrooms and herbs and things like that.
You need somebody proficient to help you?
Yeah, even though I'm proficient in intelligence doesn't mean I'm intelligent. But yeah, Adam, I'd like to see if I could use my dagger and try to collect, or herbalism kit, and try to gather some of this glowing mushrooms. Good grief.
Sure, yeah. So you're going to try to get closer. You're going to kind of analyze this, see what you know. So throw me a blind check first to see what you know as far as like how to actually harvest this.
Yeah, I think I'm unable to select my token.
Unable to select your token.
But I clicked it and then hit line roll, so.
The blind roll did not work, but the scripts didn't crash. Can you try again? So when you select your token, you should see the 3 dots above your head. Do you see those?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just going to refresh.
You might need, I was just going to say you might need to refresh then.
No, I don't see the dots. Dean, right? This guy with the fire.
That's you, I think.
Oh, okay. I see what happened. Somehow yours is not connected to your character, interestingly enough. Let me just go ahead and do that for you real quick. All right. How about now?
Boom.
Yeah, you're not super familiar with this kind of growth. You haven't seen it before, but you can try. But essentially, you're doing this kind of like as a guess.
Great, I'll guess.
All right, one more blind check, please. All right, yeah, so you guesstimate that you would want to collect like the lower part of the tendril, thinking like with maybe some other plants and things, that as the leaves grow down, if you cultivate a leaf, then the plant can sprout another leaf. That's kind of your thinking here. And yeah, you cut off some of this bottom part of tendril. As you do, you feel like an intense bit of cold for just a moment as it's separated from the rest of the tendril. But I imagine you put it into like a small little container of some kind.
No, sweet.
We're inventing refrigeration when we get back. It's going to be revolutionary.
I'll put glowing mushroom.
Put SC underground mushroom. That's how I'll know it.
Okay.
Okay, anything else you guys want to do here before pushing on, and then pick north or northwest?
Well, we have the scouts go check out the passages, right? And then come back and tell us.
They sure can, yeah. So you notice both of the scouts kind of make their way out, and they're gone for a little bit of time. Thorn and Dean, please roll me d20s, each of you.
Just public?
Yep, yeah, you can just do it public.
Oof, great
Kill it.
first roll as Thorn.
Okay, so Alice returns first. She says that the tunnel continues on for a good distance. She only went about 100 feet before coming back. Seems to continue on much longer than that. It takes like another 10 minutes or so before Griffin makes his way back to you pretty quickly. And he gets back and he's breathing pretty deeply. And you see he looks back from the way he just came and he says, "The tunnel turns down there. I saw something. I think it saw me, but I ran. I don't know exactly what it was. It was big, but it was like behind a little rock thing. And I saw it and I heard movement and I just ran as fast as I could."
Any identifying features or just a shape in the darkness?
I think I saw a metal helmet and a really big fat face.
What?
So people are living here.
How big?
Well, you see, as I was coming down the tunnel, there was this piled debris of rocks. Like someone had intentionally set all these rocks on top of each other. And when I was moving that way really quietly, because I'm very quiet, I saw like a head peek up over the rocks. I saw a metal helmet and I saw the rocks. And right when I saw the helmet, I ran. I don't know. The head was big, like maybe as big as one of your heads, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe. I don't know. It was so quick.
Oh, okay. So not a giant or something like that.
Oh, no.
But the other way, you saw nothing.
The other way goes for like at least 100 feet, but it looks like it goes for a lot longer, and I didn't see anything.
Make
I
sure we
say-
mark this corridor, please, as a direction towards the glowing room.
All right, you'll notice Dwali writes once again in a Dwarvish rune pointing in that direction that says glowing fungus in Dwarvish to those that can read it.
Well, let's avoid the trap corridor and go down the one that's clear, right?
Unless we think it's following him and is going to end up behind us, which is what we didn't want.
Well, we
Well-
came into a dead end, right? We came into a dead end. So if people are living here, he's probably a scout or watch or a collector or gathering something. This person, this thing.
Well, I don't know if it was a dead end. There were stones piled up, right? Almost like a trap.
Well, actually, I think they were piled up to make like a barricade. That's what I thought, like a blocker, because I could only see part of him. So if he was like attacking from the other side, you wouldn't barely be able to see him.
Yeah, and I'm referring to when we entered, like if you were here, like if this was a house and you were protecting, then someone came in from a dead end, it'd be quite alarming.
He must have been here for a while. If he had time to stack up rocks, make a barricade.
Right, let's just avoid him, but keep our eyes on the back.
We don't want to leave our expedition crew behind us. There's people behind us, right, Adam?
The expedition, yes.
Yeah, so we'll lose a bunch of people.
Why? They just come with us.
But if the threat's coming from behind us, if we avoid the guy behind the rocks, and then it leaves our expedition crew vulnerable.
Well, we put them in the middle. 2 behind them should do.
Yeah, we can, just as long as we have a plan to protect our expedition crew.
However, what's the chances he saw you, Griffin?
Really, really good.
Then
Like 1 in 100 chance good.
if we don't bother him, odds are he'll come and find us or put eyes on us, and he knows this place better than we do. He could be friendly.
Somehow I doubt that, but I do agree that we should probably address this before it becomes an issue in a worse situation.
We can leave the expedition group here, and we all can go and handle it, knowing that it's in front of us and not behind us. Would give me more comfort.
I agree.
Plus, and he kind of like fully extends like all the way up and like stops slouching. I could really use a fight if it wants it.
Let's keep in mind that the suggestion was made that there may be more of them. This could just be a scout or a watcher. There could be more just behind him. So
Well,
do
if
with
it's a
that
scout,
information what you will.
the longer we leave it, the more likely it is to go and tell something.
True enough.
All right, well, if you're itching for a fight, lead the way, Thorn.
Fight time.
I carry a torch. It's best if one of you do it, who can see in the dark.
I go first. I want to go see how big this little barricade is and if it's going to be like a problem.
All right, so
Blixel, if you're
presumably,
scared, you can stand
presumably,
beside me.
if you guys think of this as you've got like for ease of play, you've got like a 10-foot wide by however long tunnel is needed. What is your order that you're approaching? So I got Serena in front. Who's taking second front?
Second front, me.
All right, so we got Tabard and we've got Serena leading the front. Who's the 2 in the middle?
That'll be me.
Okay, Dean and...
I'll go in the middle, too.
All right, and that will leave Thorn and Saline at the back.
And I'll linger back a little bit so my torchlight doesn't interfere with the front portion.
How much is a bit?
Well, if it's 10 feet, so we're going in like blocks of 5, he'll just stand 5 feet behind Saline.
5 feet. Okay, gotcha.
I'm gonna go quietly, stealthily, at first to see if I can see anything.
All right. So as
Do you
you
want the rest of
guys,
us to wait, or
Sorry?
do you want the rest of us to wait while you're stealthing up, or no?
Well, it's up to you guys. I mean, we can have a few squares in between us.
Yeah, Tavard can go with you.
Yep.
all right. So if
No.
I'm hearing correctly, I've got Serena and Tavern just going off the two of them down this tunnel.
Yeah, especially now that I'm not cursed. Yeah,
Well,
my dice are gonna roll good.
I mean, we want to be like 40 feet away from.
Yeah, did Griffin give an indication of, I may have missed it, how far down this chamber was?
He will explain to you that he followed that chamber for maybe 100 feet, maybe more. Hard to say exactly because he wasn't really worrying too much about how deep it was, since there was no offshoots, and then it turned, and then he saw the creature. So anywhere between 100 and 200 feet, he would guess.
If he's a gatherer hunter, Tavard and Serena, I'd do my best to check for traps. He might be wanting to catch something. But go ahead. Good luck.
I keep an eye out for traps.
All right. So what I'm going to do then, are you guys trying to move quietly?
I am.
Yes. And I'm going to be successful in that attempt.
So both of you go ahead and throw me blind checks. Okay, so you try to move as quietly as you can, making your way. Tavern, yours did not work again, and the scripts did not fail. Just make sure you've got your token selected.
I did. Yeah. Let me do it again. Let me know if it works this time.
Yep, it worked that time.
I'm seeing all the it's not my normal token because I don't have the green health showing up or anything like that, you know?
Yeah, it's just
But-
one of those static tokens.
Yeah, but still, I mean, every time I do it, at least those things are popping up for me. So
Yeah, that's weird. I'm not sure what the deal is there. But, okay, so you guys are both moving as quietly as you can. Tavern, I obviously know you don't have armor. Serena, are you wearing any kind of armor?
Hide.
Hide. So I think that is disadvantage on stealth, right?
What? Really?
I actually don't remember. I'm pulling it up right now. I know that's medium. Let's see. Oh, maybe it's not. Okay. No, I'm not seeing that indicator.
no, it's not. I don't see it.
All right. You're both moving what you presume to be fairly quietly. You see yourself on the map where your tokens are. You don't see anything else out of the ordinary. Feel free to move yourself as you wish.
On the map?
Yes. Do you see you guys on yourself on a map right now?
I
no,
do.
I see your
Way
beautiful
down near the
picture.
bottom.
All right. If you don't see yourself there, Serena, one moment. Oh, they changed the interface for this, so it's a little bit different now. Okay, now I think I got you, Serena.
Oh, yeah. Zoom in. Okay, I'm being real stealthy. See if I can see something.
All right, so as you get to there, I'm going to token lock for a moment. So what you're spotting from your current location, Serena, you notice this looks to be a pile of rocks, much like Griffin explained. You also notice another pile of rocks even further behind that, and a third one over here.
How big's the pile?
The
Adam?
pile stacks to be about 5 feet high.
Oh, so it's... Oh. So it's not like fully across. I thought it was gonna like block.
No, it actually looks almost like a mini fortification. Like now that you're seeing 3 of them laid out like this, they look intentionally built.
I see. Well, that is a very tactical choice. What am I seeing there?
All right, as you move to that location and you're being as quiet as you can, you don't think that this creature has heard you, but you notice you can only see a fraction of this creature, Serena, but it looks like a very big bestial humanoid, and shockingly, it looks like it's wearing plate armor. It is currently kneeling down, and you can see it is looking in sort of in your direction, but you don't think it can see you.
I'm going to back up and motion for Taver to do the same.
Back up, meaning off the map, back towards your team?
Well, as far back as I think that I need to get in order to whisper to him, because I will share what I saw with him and ask if we should try to make friends.
All right, I will assume you are about 20 feet off map right now, so that gives you a good like 60 to 70 feet away from that first barricade. You don't think any normal thing would hear a whisper?
What do you think, Taver?
I think we need to make sure we tell the rest of the group because
What-
I really
would-
doubt anything down here is friendly.
Maybe I'm sure they never get visitors. They're probably excited.
Yeah, let's give them a Snickers bar and see how that goes. I don't know. I don't think so. But you never know. I mean, I'm not saying let's start the battle or anything like that. Maybe
See,
throw a
this
copper.
is why you don't have a lot of friends, Taver.
No, there's a lot of other reasons too. I don't have enough Snicker bars, but yeah, I think we should tell the rest of the group before we decide to just go in there and try to go make friends anyway, right? Because I don't think they'll be very friendly.
Okay, let's go tell them I'm gonna try to make some friends.
All right, maybe they can talk you out of this nonsense. I mean, sure.
Okay, we return to the group and share that I saw a large beastie humanoid in plate armor. It wasn't that large. I don't want to exaggerate.
How was he bestial?
How was he bestial?
I mean, again, you can only
Great.
see like a slit of him when you were looking that direction, so I will say you probably saw exaggerated teeth and maybe part of a tusk.
Interesting.
Well, we got to clear them out, right? Because we don't want them coming up behind us. So let's go get them.
Well, I mean, if there's multiple entrenchments and they're in armor, they're expecting. It seems like they're expecting something.
I have to say, I was impressed by their strategy.
Well, that's a fair point. It seems like if we went the other way, they're not pursuers, they're defenders. So that's a very good observation.
It makes me think they're hunkered down, but it also makes me worry what they're protecting themselves against.
Or
Well,
what they're hiding
we could,
back deeper in.
you know, a good way of knowing if something's a friend or an enemy is making contact. We should make the friendly approach and see how they react. Obviously, if we have to defend ourselves, we should be able to. But maybe leave the expedition behind us and the 6 of us go.
I would say there was at least 3, but I couldn't see deep enough in to see exactly how many are down there. Okay, let's go with our original plan, and I'm gonna go down there and charm them.
Yeah, I'm 100% against that, but sure. Okay.
Yeah, Trevor said I had to tell you guys my plan before I did it, so.
I have a feeling Tevard is going to be proven right in a few minutes here, but
Yes, I agree. However, if we come across as nice first, then we may open up the playing field.
Does this mean all of you are now getting closer to that area?
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to ask for blind checks from everybody if you're trying to move quietly.
Oh,
Blixel is not moving quietly.
Okay.
yeah. Thorn is just walking up with his torchlight. I don't think he has intentions of being quiet.
I still want to be in the back.
Okay, so I've arranged you guys as best I can with the limits of this map. So let me put you guys over there. All right, so this is where you find yourselves. Your torchlight thorn is obviously casting out that way. Some of you are not intentionally trying to be quiet, so you don't think you're all that quiet.
Excuse me. Hello, good sir.
All right, and as you step there, Serena, and basically as soon as you start calling out, you hear from the other side, does anybody happen to speak Orc?
Let's find out.
Wait, where's my...
No,
Hold
not
on.
here.
All right,
Not
you
that one.
I speak Orog.
speak Orog?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, one moment.
Wow, you're full of
Hearing Adam make that noise is always interesting.
I don't think I've ever seen a character take Orog before. That's awesome. So what I will
It's
say,
related to my lost years.
okay, so Orc and Orog are very highly related. You can think of them as like dialects of one another. So I will say you can pick up enough of this to know that this person shouting says, basically attack group coming from south is the best you can make out. And with that, I'm going to throw you guys into initiative.
Got advantage.
Everybody gets advantage. Okay, so you see what you've rolled there. Please go ahead and roll yourself another advantage check. If it's higher, then you can replace what's there. If it's not, then return it to what it was.
Oh, nope. Mine is a better before.
Uh,
Adam, I don't see mine. Oh, never mind. It's under roll initiative. Okay, hold on. Yep.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
do
it
that
put
way.
me on there twice from what I'm looking at, so.
All right, I'll just remove your lower one. Okay, I'm assuming everybody is good based on what I'm hearing. Let me sort. Okay, holy moly. All right, so let's go ahead and turn on a different music here. All right, so as this shout goes out, before it is even Saleen's turn, there is quite a bit of activity.
Oh, shit.
Can I shout back in response? Would that be like a fast enough thing?
Sure, you can shout something if you wish.
Yeah, I would shout in Orog or Orog. Ceasefire, friendly, that type of thing.
Give me a blind check, Serena. All right, you shout this out. You notice an individual steps out from behind the first set of rocks. As he does, you notice he looks down in that direction. You get the impression almost of like a bit of confusion as he looks down that way, but spotting Blixel there, he is going to go ahead and fire.
God damn it, Blixel.
All right, so Blixel, you are currently in light. You can see him, so this is just straight up. So you see he has a longbow at hand, and he cocks it back and fires an arrow at you. Defense roll, please. Yes, this arrow manages to strike into you. And you will take 8 points of piercing damage as he then backs behind the barricade. All right, after that turn...
Oh!
That wasn't very friendly.
You can hear the sound of footsteps rushing closer. Once this figure gets here and is now within some of your signs of vision, you see what looks like a very large-sized orc. For those of you that have read about orcs before, this looks to be a massively sized orc in ridiculously heavy-looking armor. At a quick glance, it almost looks like some of these plates of armor are like welded onto the creature's body. You notice this massive great axe in hand, and as he gets here, he lets out a blood-curdling scream and rushes forth.
And now would I recognize it with being a dwarf and everything? I read the background for the dwarves.
Yes, you would definitely know that this is an Orog.
And I'll yell that out to the group.
So friendly, or
Nope.
Doesn't seem like it.
as I pull the arrow out of my arm?
All right, there is another one here that is going to shoot at Blixel. Blixel, since you can't see this creature, this attack is going to be at advantage against you, but he does have cover, so I'm going to give you a +2 to your defense roll.
Sorry, blind check, not defense roll.
No worries. Okay, so with a 15 + 2, that gives you a 17. You are still struck.
Is your AC correct? Are you in the breastplate, or is it?
Yeah, I'm in the breastplate. It's
Okay.
16 with
I
the
see.
breastplate.
Blixel, another arrow, similar situation, comes flying towards you. Another defense roll at disadvantage. This time you do manage to evade it as you just duck away and it strikes into that wall next to you.
Has he entered my reach?
I would say from where you're at right now, since you're kind of behind this like rock wall, no. But at the same time, no one shot at you, as you can tell, because they don't have a line of sight on you. This one is also going to fire at you, Blixel. You can see this one, so this is straight up, but you do still get the benefits of cover. But unfortunately, no, that is still going to strike you. Okay, another arrow punctures into your armored body there. All right, believe it or not, that is all the individuals that have beat you guys in initiative. So let me go and reset initiative real quick. And then move to the first player character, which is Celine. All right.
Well,
Kill them all!
was I able to see them duck behind like this one from where I'm at, or no?
Based on your line of sight, I think you probably would have seen one duck over there. Yep.
Probably not good enough, I think. Yeah, I would need light in that room to really do the cool thing. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go ahead and... That guy's a bit intimidating, but we might as well get this off on the first turn. So I'm going to cast Bless just at first level, and I am going to bless Serena, Tavard, and the new guy, just to see what he can do.
All right, those of you blessed, go ahead and add that indicator onto your tokens and update the global mods on your sheet so that those are auto-applied.
And then I'm going to duck into this crevasse here.
Okay.
And that is the end of my turn.
Thanks,
Hey,
I feel
Ian.
holy or something.
All right. I'm gonna go 5, 10, 15, 20, and then tentacle rod attack this guy.
Sure. Yeah, 28 will certainly hit.
Yeah.
Wounding him.
Anyway, what's the rider? Let me Google it real quick.
You got to hit all 3 hits, and then if you do, he has to make a con save. That one will miss. The third one will hit.
I'm gonna have to look it up. It's brilliant. That's 20, 25, 30.
Okay, Blixel.
Okay, Blixel's pissed. He's gonna cast Fairy Fire using his racial ability.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and use the smart AoE for that.
He's gonna do it there because he's not sure where the other guys are.
All right, feel free to trigger all when you're ready. Okay, this spell takes effect, and yeah, at least the first one, you can certainly see he is lit up.
Okay, and then Blixel's gonna spend his card, or I'm gonna spend a card for Blixel.
All right, excellent. You have gained the bonus action boon, which means you get an extra action. You're using it on yourself, you said?
Yep. And I'm
Okay.
gonna rush up, and I'm gonna start attacking.
Because it's 6:30, I will play my card on his first attack.
All right, go ahead and throw that out as well.
I'm sorry, it's stuck. There we go.
Oh, well, I rolled it
Yeah.
already. And
Oh, well.
actually, you know what? I already have advantage on this because of Fairy Fire. So, but
that's true.
and actually, because I have Elvish accuracy, I should have triple advantage. So I don't know how to roll that, but I just roll again.
Just roll another d20. Yeah, I don't think there's a mechanical way to do that. All right, so 14 plus all your modifiers looks like 7 total. So yeah, of your 3 dice, one ends up being a 21. So yes, that will hit.
Okay.
All right, you stab forth with the mocking blade, and you do indeed tear into the creature's flesh through its armored plates.
Okay, I'm going to offhand. Yeah, since I have the triple advantage, I'm going to offhand attack with my short sword.
Those will both miss, and that one will as well.
Okay. And that's the end of my turn.
All right, after your turn and before Thorn's turn, Blixel, another shot will come fired in at you. You can barely see this creature, so I'm not going to give him advantage, but you will get the +2 for cover. So defense roll +2. Yes, you managed to evade that shot. And then we've got Thorn.
Okay, Thorn is going to make his way up, and as he's making his way up, he's going to use his free hand to draw out his battle axe, and he's going to tap Blixel on the shoulder, and then he's going to like very athletically put his like lean far to the left and put his leg in front of Blixel and shift him backwards and use his battle maneuver, bait and switch. And switch places with Blixel, and he's going to add the superiority die to Blixel's AC.
Blixel, are you willing for this maneuver?
Sure.
All right, so please move yourself 5 feet back. Burn one of your superiority die there, and I think I built that in for you, Thorin. You should be able to just click it right into your attacks, and then whatever you roll here, Blixel will get a plus AC. All right, that doesn't look right.
0.
Rolling
Yeah.
0.
Same as always been.
I clicked the one in the little action bar, Adam. Is that the right one?
I thought it was, but that might have been designed just for you to burn the die. Let me just go ahead and add the number there real quick.
Sure. I'll just roll a d8 now, though.
Yep, yeah, you can do that. Yep, and then it will work next time. Okay,
I
so
got
your
2.
AC goes up by 2, Blixel, until the start of Thorn's next turn.
Okay.
And I will swing my battle axe down, one-handed, right at that guy's arm. Is he like holding a weapon?
He is. He has a great axe in hand.
Perfect. I'm gonna go for his hand.
With Bless, that will hit.
Nice. I'm gonna burn another superiority die and do disarming attack.
Okay, so now click that die again, and then that will automatically have the saving throw attack built in there. And yeah, okay, there it is. So you did a 20. Let me check his. Yes, the great axe drops to his feet.
Nice. And then
Post
here's your damage.
yep, and we're adding 6 to
6.
this, yep. And the 2, okay, so 14, 20 points of damage. All right, your battle axe chops into his shoulder, wounding him badly, and you see with the wound, the axe falls out of his hand to the ground.
Then I'm gonna kind of do like a feint with the axe again and come back with the other side of it because it's dual-sided and just kind of go for the neck, see if I can decapitate him.
Yes, that will hit as well. Wounding him a second time as he is looking badly hurt.
Nice. And seeing Serena behind me and I can see the look in her eyes, I'm going to recognize that look and shift to this side to give her some space in my turn.
Okay. And Serena, it is your turn.
I say something in Orug that translates to, "You fight valiantly, but you are all gonna die now."
He doesn't seem unhappy with that. He's fully in the warrior's mode right now. All right, you use a bonus action to rage, and you get the bolt of light from your chest. Who would you like to target?
That's cool. Let's target
All right, that
that
one. Okay, and I thought I built this in for you as well.
I don't remember. Maybe I got it like one other time before.
Okay, so for now, just go ahead and throw a Constitution save. Okay, yes, he is definitely affected by that. So let's see, he will take 1d6 radiant damage, going through a d6, and he is blinded until the start of your next turn.
Very good.
All right, and 6 radiant damage dealt to him.
He ain't gonna live that long.
Okay. And let's start swinging at the guy in front of me.
Yes, and still covered with fairy fire, so all advantage, but that one will miss.
Where? I'll do my extra attack.
That will also miss.
Bummer.
Oh, you have Pam, right?
Not when
She's
she
bonus
rages.
action rage.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where is Tabard? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Let's circle around.
Can I go here? Is there enough room?
Yeah, I would let you stand there.
Okay. I'll stand there.
All right, so you're kind of almost like pressed up against that stone barricade at the moment, but yeah, that works. Okay, Tavern.
All right. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to use patient defense, even though I already have advantage, but I like my little bonus for that. So,
All right, feel free to burn that.
Damn.
That will definitely hit.
Right in the throat.
As you solidly sock him in the chest, he is wounded and near death.
oh, shoot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Saving all my rolls, you know.
That will hit as well. Yeah, apparently you were. Yes, he is going to collapse to the ground.
I am going to go there, and since I've already used my 2 attacks, I'm going to end my turn.
Okay. And yes, this creature is having a hard time seeing with the glowing light in its face, but it just heard somebody approaching, and it's going to hack out at you, Tavern. 2 defense rolls at advantage.
All right, and then I'm going to play my card.
All right, yes, you managed to evade both of those attacks. Okay, yes, you may make an opportunity attack against him, thanks to the opportunity jinx.
Yeah, and it's at advantage anyway, because I'm at advantage regardless, but...
Yeah, whole many different ways of advantage. He's blinded and fairy fired. Oof, but that one is going to miss.
Yeah, his blinding light just caused me a little bit of concern there.
Maybe it blinds you a little bit too, yeah. Okay, so that was the end of your turn. That's the end of his turn. Now, before before the top of the round, this one is going to step out. Yeah, he's still going to shoot at you, Blixel, because you're the one he can see lit up there with the light. So defense roll at disadvantage. I know your AC is increased by 2. You no longer have the cover. Yep, that is still going to hit. Oh, sorry, I was reading Taverns, but yeah, he's still going to hit there.
Actually, can I use a hero point on that?
You sure can. Remember, this is at disadvantage, so you have a 12 right now. But if you wish
Oh yeah. In
He's
that
got a
case,
14.
or
He's got
14.
a 14.
But
right.
Nah, that's it. I'll take it. That's fine.
All right, so that arrow strikes into you for 10 points of piercing damage.
I'm gonna make a concentration check, right?
Oh yeah, Fairy Fire should have thrown the clock on you, but it looks like it didn't. So let me go ahead and throw that on you. But yes, go ahead and throw a con save. All right, that will drop. All right, so clock comes off, and this one that was fairy fired no longer is fairy fired. Okay, that was that guy's turn. All right, you're going to hear some additional movement. And for those of you that can actually see far down the hallway, let me see where he will end up and see who can see him. So I think Tavern can just barely see him.
Barely see.
And Serena can just barely see him.
Yeah, I can tell there's a figure, but...
All right, so the 2 of you that can just barely see this guy, you are going to notice what looks like a Orog and he is dressed in what almost looks like primitive clothing. You notice this very odd attire, like feathers. His hat looks like remnants of like a bird type attire. As he turns the corner here, and you can see he's got like a snarl on his face, he is going to not use that one because you guys are a little bit too far away for that one. Okay, he is going to, yeah, that one definitely is going to work well for him. All right, so he is going to motion with his hands as he conjures up some magical energy. And as he does so, you see a ripple in the earth suddenly rides the ground from the north to the south as you see little bits of rock just kind of getting pushed when suddenly this earth explodes outward. This is going to affect a 20-foot cube. I'm sure this one is not in Smart AoE, otherwise I would use that. But I think we've got our fancy new... Let me see if I can find it. Is square? Yes. So, let's see. He doesn't want to hit that guy, but he doesn't really know he's there. Thanks to the light down here.
Is it 20 radius or 20...
20 foot, yeah, 20 foot square. So, yeah, let me do it the old way. I think it's just easier.
Because I think that was making a 40-foot square there.
Yes, I think you are right. Okay, so he's going to put this... Yeah, I think he'll put it there because he's trying to get these guys. He obviously doesn't know that Dian's there, but that's going to work in his favor. So once the earth kind of rides down here and then explodes outward, I will need those of you that are in that space to give me dexterity saving throws.
Can we assume that the baddie that's laying on his back there is kaput now?
Yes.
I'm going to hero point mine.
Sure, yeah, you can do that. Serena, you will succeed on your save, so you'll suffer half of this damage.
I am going to use inspiration.
All right, go ahead and click your inspiration. Dian, you will succeed. Thorn, you will succeed.
And then I'm going to use a hero point.
All right, so let me just do a quick calculation. So right now you're at a 16. You want to use a hero point?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and throw a reaction and hero point. Okay, now you're at a 19. You succeed as well. All right, so each of you will suffer half of this damage. I'm just going to post this one at a time. So we'll do Serena first. So 10 points to Serena.
What kind of damage is it?
This is magical bludgeoning damage. So yes, you will take half of that. So 5 to you. Thorn, you will take 13 magical bludgeoning. Blixel, 11 magical bludgeoning. And Dian, 16 magical bludgeoning. All right, and in addition, all of this space is now difficult terrain. So what I'm going to do, hopefully that didn't just mess it up. There we go. So I'm going to do it like that so you guys know that is difficult terrain. Okay, and then we've got a bit more movement. Blixel, another shot out of the dark at you. So you have the +2, so yes, you will not be hit by that. And once again, you hear some loud stomping and movement as another one of these large Orogs runs into range. All right, that is going to put us to the...
That goes into my reach range?
Yes, it does. Can you see him through the barricade? And you didn't use your reaction yet, right?
Right.
So yeah, you can take an attack on him if you wish.
I would love to.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and make an attack. That is going to miss.
I can't roll anything.
All right, guys, we are at the end of our session here. Hopefully you guys had a good time this session. We'll pick up next week. Obviously, you guys are right in the thick of things. We'll see what is going down in this area and what secrets might be down in this location. So have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you all in 1 week.
Good night, guys. See ya.
Night, y'all.
Night, everybody. Have a good
Good
week.
night.